fucked up.
I know.
By not pressing record as soon as I walked in the door.
I did.
For all the listeners, you guys missed.
Yeah.
Wait, are we on now?
Guys,
We're on now.
We're in. We haven't done
guys.
the proper intro. Yet.
Do you want to do your little clap?
I already did it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we're
Clap.
Oh, just to.
I don't want the clap.
Just
So
to sync up the
I'm
audio.
so sorry.
We're all good.
I'm gonna stop probably.
And yes, we are. All right, Cold Pot. We have a special guest today.
I already have them laughing, you guys.
Jen Egg, restaurateur, Toronto legend.
Yep.
Somebody
Okay. Okay.
I mean that as a compliment, obviously.
Right, you're not being sarcastic. Toronto legend in quotes.
Quote unquote legend. Everybody knows her.
I mean, they do, right? They do.
They do.
One would hope so.
If you don't, I don't know where you've been.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, you brought us some nice treats. We have some wine and some charcuterie.
This is beautiful.
This is maybe the best gift we've gotten so far. Is
the garlic from Eva was pretty sick too.
yeah, that was pretty good.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah,
I mean, you
this
don't want to
is
make
great.
your other guests feel bad by
no,
being
and
like,
actually,
But-
Eva gave us the mic that you're currently using. That
Actually
was a pretty
true,
good one.
yeah.
oh my God, that's amazing. Hi, Eva.
We have a lot of great guests. But this is
Yeah.
That's pretty, like a mic is, I mean, you can't really top that.
I mean, we're gonna use it every time we do this from now on.
Does everyone bring gifts? Is that just understood? Like, I understood it from listening to Eva's episode and being like, oh, that's a really nice thing to do. And also, I'm going to want to drink wine. And also, I don't think, no offense, that you're going to have any wine I want to drink. Like, that's a blanket.
Well,
Maybe it's not
do you think
true.
we're wine rack people? Is that what
Well,
you're
I did
implying?
see the first corkscrew you brought out. Okay, you guys know that.
Also, we kind of are wine rack people.
That's not true. That's you. That's you.
Wait, what did you say?
I get the seltzers from wine rack. That's what I
Oh
get.
boy, the corks. You guys know that those corkscrews. Do I have to hold this like this or it doesn't work?
That's good.
Okay.
That's good. It's a hot mic. But you're
Okay,
good.
it's a hot mic.
As in it, like we'll pick up everything.
Yeah. Okay. Can I like put it down?
No.
Okay. I just have to hold it. So they, those like family corkscrews, like your mom and dad have one at their house, and it's like it's a little thing, and the arms go up, and then you push the arms down, the cork like slides out. Like that is what Josh brought me to open the wine, and then. Austin?
Yeah.
Austin. And Austin, sorry, I've never met Austin before. Austin was like, you've never worked in a restaurant, have you, Josh? And I was like, not a fucking chance. And then he brought out a proper corkscrew, and it was better.
We need to talk about this for a second, because I would actually like to know what the problem is with the first one I brought out.
It's not efficient enough for
not
me.
efficient at all.
It's just not efficient. Like, it doesn't do the job in an efficient, quick, clean way. It's like, it's messy. Like,
And
first
it's
of all,
huge
it doesn't have a
and clunky.
knife on it. Where's this thing?
I got rid of it because I was so
you
embarrassed.
threw it away. Okay, so it doesn't have a knife on it. So like you're supposed to like take the actual corkscrew part and like grab into the foil, which is the thing that covers the top of the bottle. And you're supposed to like grab into that with like a little nick of the like sharp part of the corkscrew, and then you like try to pull it up, and then you inevitably like cut your finger very badly.
Yeah.
So like that's the first problem with it.
I mean, I will say that when I went to go reach for the wine opener, I opened the drawer. I knew that we had this one.
You knew it was in there.
I knew it was
this
in
is a proper
there, but
one.
I was thinking, because every time
waiters pull.
Every time guests come, we always start talking when we should just be recording. So I was like, let's be fast.
Right.
Let's
So you
get
thought-
that.
You were being efficient
I was
in
trying
a
to be
different way.
efficient. Also, you made us wait. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, first of all, has anyone taken an Uber lately? Like, we're paying a premium for a terrible service.
Oh yeah, it's not
Like,
good.
it told me 7 minutes. I was like, perfect. I'm gonna like show up at 6:29. I like to be on time.
Yeah.
And I showed up at what 6:37 because Uber lied to me.
They always do, though. This is like, it's
their thing.
That's
I
what
mean,
they
it
do.
is their thing. All right, let's taste some of this charcuterie
Yeah, let's get into
as
this.
we eat on the pod for the first time.
I know it's gonna sound
That's what I
gross
was gonna
when
say.
we're
It's gonna
eating,
be
right?
great
It's
for
gonna.
the listeners.
I'm not sorry. So,
Oh, yeah.
so everyone knows.
All right, well, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Is this where the gotcha happens?
No.
Let's get into it.
Well, there's a lot to talk about.
Okay, okay.
There's a million different ways we can start this, but like just on a very.
Do you have a plan?
I got a list of things.
Okay,
to talk
great.
about. A lot of things
Cool,
to talk
cool.
about. But let's talk about the restaurant world in general, like right now.
Okay.
And how do you feel about it? And the sort of comeback of, I don't want to say the word, but the C word.
The C word is cunt in my mind. Okay.
The comeback of the cunt.
The cunt comeback. That actually, I've been doing a cunt comeback.
This might be the episode title. I'm just kidding.
Listen. Okay, the restaurant world. So first of all, owning a restaurant is one of the dumbest things that you can do as a person. It's great if you don't want a boss.
Yeah.
I mean, your boss is the guest.
Right.
And if you are like careful to curate your guests in a way that you have sort of like-minded people enjoying your restaurant as much as is possible. Of course, you can't have total control, but you have a lot of control about, or at least I think I do, because I have been very obvious about where I stand on a lot of issues. I think most restaurateurs are not obvious about that for obvious bottom line issues that I don't need to care about as much because my restaurants are small.
Yes.
Right.
So, you know, like you can, as long as you can find enough people to like have the famous sort of expression butts in seats and like that's all you need to do, then yeah, like I don't need to be serving people that maybe this is going to sound so stupid and naive because of course like some people are going to have repugnant politics to me and I just never know about it.
Well, yeah, 'cause
whatever.
how
Like,
would
but you can like
know?
try, right?
Yeah.
You can sort of try to like make a space that is welcoming to the kind of people that you want to be around. So that's what I've tried to do. And so in that sense, what are we? No, I'm going to circle back. I'm the best at circling back. Okay. So
But
like in that sense, like it's already a hard job, a hard world. Everything's hard about it. It's stressful. I mean, I did a lot of working in the restaurants for a long time, like working services 5 days a week for, you know, years and years and years before I was able to lead this leisurely life where I can be hanging out with you guys on a Friday night.
In my living room.
It's like, so I don't know. So when it first, it was so stressful to go through it, but it was for me, I was going through a personal stress that was like so much more important that it was like, and this sounds so, it just didn't matter to me the way my husband having had a massive stroke mattered to me.
Right,
and in some ways, like, thank God he had the stroke and I didn't have to care about my failing restaurants.
Right.
Joking, obviously,
Yeah,
like would have much preferred that he not have had the stroke.
But there was
just to be clear. But yeah, there was a real personal distraction in that sense. So, but eventually I had to like go, oh, this is how I live and eat, and this is how I'm paying like hospital bills for my husband, so that he doesn't literally, so he can have his own room, and we don't have insurance, of course, because we're restaurant people, and like, my husband would be so upset if he's like, I'm not a restaurant person, I play music at Rum, and I'm really sorry for doing his accent, but he's okay with it. So I think
I was supposed to do it myself, and I was like,
can you do a good roll, huh?
No,
well, we'll see in about 10, 15, 25 minutes.
When the wine starts,
we'll see what happens.
When the wine starts hitting.
Anyway, okay, I'm totally going to answer your question 100%. So yeah, but so that was like already just this awful on top of awful, and then everybody's in the world is going through their own awful, so you're isolated, and we all know how bad it is all the time for everyone, like through this time. It wasn't fun. And then, January of what year? Time is a flat. Of 2022, like we closed down again, like for the seventh time.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like really hard to take because we had just gained so much momentum. Our bank accounts were starting to like not be in the
red,
black, red. Which one's the good one?
Red's not good.
Red's not good. One. Okay, like I don't know, like
I don't even know if
like it doesn't make sense to be in the black and the red. Like it actually is it pen colors? Is it like a teacher marketing?
I think it's like generally red
it's
bad.
It's banking.
Red bad.
Okay.
Bad.
Anyway, we were finally starting to be in the black, and of course that's obviously the good one. And it was looking up, and then it's just like you just lose, and you're just like, oh, this again, okay, fine. And it's like, of course I understand why. And like I for a long time was very vocal about being the most careful about it and trying to, protect the staff and all, and just get everyone as much as we possibly could. Mm-hmm. And then this summer it started to really actually look up again,
right,
in a way that felt like, oh, right, people really missed restaurants and people really want to be in restaurants, and this is like, holy shit, we actually can't keep up because nobody wants to work in restaurants anymore, which was a whole new slew of like garbage problems. So we had really serious staffing problems, and like nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
We're talking about it here on Cold Pod.
Yeah,
hard hitting. And everybody was going through it, like particularly with back of house, which is kitchen stuff. Like people just had left, and I don't know where they went. Like honestly, mystery to me. Like, did they go into tech? Because that's not a great place to be.
Honestly, probably.
Good luck, you guys.
If I were to take a guess,
maybe keep your knives sharp.
No, but it's interesting to think about that era and the sort of transition in that kind of sense, because you're totally right with people wanting, as a customer, wanting to come back. Like it was such, like for example, the first restaurant I went to where I would say things were actually back. I'm not going to count summer 2021 because it was kind of a gray area. Yeah. But I came to Rum. And if you remember that,
that was such a beautiful.
It was like, and you were serving.
I was
you were
serving around randomly. Yes.
You're like running up, being like, "I'm back," and like Jamal was grabbing drinks from like cocktail bar for me and stuff because we demanded Miller High Life.
Wait, was I not providing a level of service? I was providing a level of service in which you had to go to another bar and order a drink.
No.
I wasn't getting them fast enough.
No. You were requiring a level of service that was so good that I had said, "Can we get High Lifes?" And you were like, "Well, I don't have them here, but I think I have them."
Oh, wow.
And then you made Jamal run across the street.
Well, he's my kid.
I know.
Gotta make him do shit
But
sometimes.
I have a great photo of him, like, running back with like a case of beer. And then you were just like, "Here you guys go."
Oh my God. That was so, I remember that now. That was so
But that
nice.
was just like, that was like the first sort of comeback. And I remember just being like, I want to go to your restaurant because I do feel like, there is, and I wonder if it has to do with, sort of, I will say legacy of your restaurants, that there is a certain level of like, I know what I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
There's no risk. Not to say that I didn't want to go try somewhere new, but I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna go back to a restaurant,
New's overrated.
What's that?
New is overrated. Everybody likes shiny and new, but
No,
It really, well,
classic.
you also must have just seen a million things come and go, and like there's kind of a reason why
I
you're
have
still
done.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's huge because so many restaurants come and go so quickly.
It's
Right.
a really hard industry.
Yeah.
Circling back. Yes.
And then there's also just like the sort of the cursed buildings. Those like cursed businesses.
Yeah,
you just
Let's
There's
talk
always
about a
that
cursed
one
building. What's a
spot.
cursed building? I mean, I know
Can't
what I
think of
think
any-
some of them
I
are,
can't
but
think of one specifically, but there's those places.
there's a College Street location near here actually that has a patio that I always thought would be such
exactly
a
what you're
great.
talking about.
You know
At the
exactly
bottom of my street.
Yeah, it's like it would be such a great.
Oh, yeah,
But you don't know what it
yeah.
is because you're like, what's there? I
Yeah,
don't fucking know
yeah.
because it changes
Every 6 months,
It's
8 months.
crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of a cursed location.
That's what I'm saying. There's cursed locations.
Could I break the
100%.
curse? Do you think I could break
I
the
don't
curse?
know if it's worth it. I don't know if it's
I don't
worth
have
it.
any money to jump into that right now, but okay.
But
What?
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what makes a cursed location? I remember there was this place in Vancouver on like in the English Bay area there. That's like it's right at English Bay. It's
What's
like,
English Bay? Talk to me like I don't know Vancouver
English
that
Bay
well.
is
I don't know
is
Vancouver
a beach. It's a beach.
Okay.
It's a fucking
I
beach.
only know
It's a beach.
the
but
other
it's like
beach.
a really cultural or like a hot spot for people. Every all the tourists go down there and go to the beach and stuff. But there's this cultural hotspot for Vancouver. So no. But there's this one location that always flips like that, and it makes no sense to me because it's right at like the best place to be in Vancouver.
I really hope we caught that.
I basically just mouthed
Are
the
you a
words.
Vancouver hater too?
No,
I'm a
I'm
Vancouver
not.
hater.
I'm really
No,
not. I love Vancouver.
I'm a huge
Okay,
Vancouver
I'll tell you what. I think Vancouver is a bit of a small town in lots of ways, and they can
yeah.
take offense if they want. But that's stupid. It goes to bed at 9:30 in its yoga pants,
Yeah.
which is a little bit offensive to me. It's like I get it. You guys love weed and hate drinking. I mean, I know that's not totally true.
West
I know
Coast
that's not
sober.
totally true, but it's a little bit of a stereotype, and it comes from somewhere. But let me tell you something about the hiking there. Like, as a white woman, love a hike.
I love a hike
And
too.
holy shit, you can go on these hikes that are like actually really super challenging. Also, the most beautiful things you've ever seen outside of like Big Sur. Yeah, that's that like.
Yeah.
It's like so beautiful there.
Yeah.
And then you like come out of this forest and you saw 3 waterfalls and then the ocean is there. Like,
Yeah.
that's how it keeps its people, right?
But everything else.
My theory about
I mean,
Vancouver, well,
Come on.
that's
Yeah.
why I think it sucks is because it's so beautiful. Just
It doesn't
like,
even have to
naturally.
try?
Yeah.
No one
Like a
cares
hot chick?
to try. Yeah, exactly. Vancouver is a hot chick. That's exactly what
There's
it
a
is.
reason I'm pretty funny. like no, I can get it. Like I'm attractive, but it's like I'm not a hot chick, and I just accept that.
No, but that's
about
exactly
myself.
what Vancouver is.
That's
That's
what
exactly what
It's
Vancouver
like
is.
too hot.
And then
it's
Toronto's,
too hot.
Toronto's the
What's Toronto?
Don't you dare.
Let's go.
I'm not gonna say. We all know what Toronto.
I'm just trying to think of like Toronto as a woman.
Who would it be?
Who would it be?
Who would Toronto be?
I don't. That's a good question.
Like
Because
okay,
Toronto's
it's
not
a
an
very
ugly
liberal
girl.
woman who's also quite offensive.
But the thing
like
is,
first of all,
we have to think outside of our bubble though, because there's so much more of Toronto than just like what we consider Toronto. Like even for example, just King Street. Let's just throw. King
I've
Street
actually
in.
never been there.
What's
it like? They like tequila sodas. I hear. Like,
Hey, I love tequila.
I like a tequila tonic. I just cracked the code of going to a show where music is played. You've been to a live music show before.
Yeah.
So like, and the code
No,
is
what's that?
if they have Beefeater gin, you get a gin sonic, which is from the 90s, and it's a gin soda tonic to, keep it tight.
Yeah.
And like, if it's if they have a decent rum, I would get a rum and coke because I love a good rum and coke, and I would just tell them like, hey, look, no more, you don't have limes, what? Like we'd have that conversation, and then I
Or
would
those
just get
ugly
a
brown
tequila
limes.
tonic, and I'd be so happy because it's unfuckupable.
Wait, so here's
Yeah.
we're really moving through these things, but
Okay, we can go back.
No,
we
no,
can
no,
go back to
no,
what
no,
is
I
King
love-
Street? Have you ever been there?
No, we let it flow.
We let it flow.
I want to talk about tonic for a second because this is something that
Did you just learn how sweet tonic is? Are you about to tell me how sweet tonic is?
no,
Okay.
I have an internal struggle with tonic where some days I love it and some days I hate it.
Maybe it's your hormones.
Yeah, it must be.
I don't know. What do you mean?
I just mean that sometimes, like for example, when you said like no to tequila soda but yes to tequila tonic.
It just tastes more delicious.
Yeah, fair, I guess.
enough, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've had one before, but it's always been an afterthought where it's like I would always go tonight. If we probably will go out later tonight,
The
I'm
after
gonna
party, we're gonna go for tequila tonics.
I might have to be converted. But in
Wait,
my
whose
mind,
birthday is it? It's your birthday?
No one's birthday.
I thought you just said birthday.
No. It's every
Never mind.
every day.
It's
Happy
someone's
birthday.
Every day is someone's birthday.
Yes, fuck it.
It's really true.
But going back to the Toronto thing, like we forget about like King Street being like an aspect of our lives that maybe we don't venture down south that often. But it's very real, especially when you think of like restaurants and stuff. Because I have never actually really eaten at one of those like King Street restaurants, but I've DJ'd at them before.
Okay, I guess I know what it is. I'm being like willfully ignorant. But like, yeah, I mean, it's like the K booth restaurants and the.
It's like it's like a lot of like it's like a club.
Have you ever been to a restaurant? You've been to a restaurant.
Well,
Like a restaurant generally?
I work in restaurants.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Where do you work?
He just quit.
I'm not gonna say it on.
You're not gonna say it on the air?
It doesn't deserve it.
Ooh.
Wow, now I'm desperate to know.
I'll tell you. It's an Italian restaurant.
Okay, you're gonna tell me later.
Italian small thing, I'll tell you.
No,
I
but,
quit though. I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll find a way to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bad.
Oh,
Bad
I'll be
cus-
back in.
Bad customers.
Is he good? Is he good at service?
Am
I?
I've never.
Josh
been
doesn't
to your
know the
restaurant.
difference between.
What, between good service and bad service?
No, I'm
I
kidding.
think I'm pretty good. I care.
I feel like you
Is
would
it
be
maybe
good.
that you care too much, or you're too much of a
think-
perfectionist?
I care enough. I care.
Doesn't care at all.
I care more than most people I work with sometimes.
That's a low
And
bar, babe.
That becomes annoying because it's like, why am I the only person
Oh
giving
man, I
a
can't wait to
shit?
find out where this is.
I mean, I never heard of this.
Yeah, I don't
restaurant,
even think you'd.
But it's in a building that you definitely have heard of. I'll say that.
It's in a building that I've heard of.
Yeah.
I love
so
this.
you can kind of get the
clue.
vibe of the
I
restaurant.
love this clue. What about a clue about geography? Just one.
No,
clue.
it's. I mean, it's like really a nothing restaurant. It's. I mean, we'll talk.
Okay, move it on. We can edit around this insanity.
But as
Okay.
with the King Street thing, it's like I was saying, you forget about these restaurants that are very King Street restaurants, which I don't go to, but I have. The random Instagram follower that's like an old friend of mine or something that is very much into that world. It's like, for example, it's like the Drake restaurants. Remember when
Right.
Drake, and I don't mean the Drake, I mean like Drake the
I know,
rapper.
no, I know.
Where he would open like a Frings or like the Suso
Oh, I made so
Libros.
much fun of Frings. I'm like, how can they not have fries and onion rings? Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yes,
Was it
so
actually
true.
Was
Like
it
how-
actually
like-
named after the Harveys?
No, but also, how can you call a restaurant Frings and then not have fries and onion rings
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fucked up.
together?
That is fucked up.
It's just
That's so
rude.
fucked up. That's
That was
really
my
fucked up.
line of comedy through that. Like,
That's really
Very
fucked up.
rude.
I never went to Frings.
but people go to these restaurants.
That's what I'm
kind
saying.
of your yes.
That's
People
what
go
I'm
to
saying
them.
Is that like I feel like there is sort of this like divide of like what I would consider like good real restaurants versus these like hypey like Instagrammable like fucking like I don't know like for example
Okay,
a
first-
restaurant with a DJ is what I'm trying to say. 'Cause I've been
I know
hired
exactly what you mean,
these
but I
places.
also think that okay. I have so many thoughts about this that it's going to annoy you guys. And
No,
like,
let's go.
So
is
first
why
of all,
you're here.
I think that Instagrammable is like, come on, every fucking good, real, authentic restaurant that you go to is Instagrammable in lots of ways.
Right.
First of all, including my washrooms, especially my washrooms.
Yeah.
And so it's not like that thought hasn't gone into it for a lot of people to like there's places with like, the fucking Cactus Club has a mirror that's like, you're hot, take your picture here in this mirror, whatever. Like
Yeah.
they think about that stuff. But also, this is a drum I've been banging for so long that I'm bored of my own thoughts about this. But like most restaurateurs, restaurant people, chef restaurant owners buy all the elements of cool that they are presenting to you as their like genius idea they pooped out.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm deeply offended by that because I curate it all so lovingly.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to make it about me, but like it's
all about you.
It's a thing.
You're the guest.
It's definitely a thing. And so like when somebody has like hired a DJ to make the playlist that I labor over, or like hired designers to design the restaurants that I labor over.
Yeah, it's lazy.
And I'm just like, it's lazy, but it's also you don't have it. You
Yeah.
simply don't have the range, Carl. I'm not thinking of like anyone in particular. I don't mean any Carl that's a restaurant person. I just like a name that honestly like it's genuinely like, but I have to also that's part of like being me.
I know.
Which is very annoying. I had a chef message me the other day and he was so upset that like somebody had DM'd him his personal account and been like, I had a bad time at your restaurant and this is why and blah, blah, blah. And like obviously the person was a little bit crazy and I was like, dude, you should see my fucking DM. Are you kidding? This is like not like this is like I'm a man with the flu. Like
I would pay good money to see your DM request.
I mean, I will happily we can rifle through them together tonight later and it's just like it's mental.
Definitely the most unhinged shit
It's
of
so
all
unhinged.
time.
So like I'm constantly circling back. I'm constantly aware of like what I'm saying. And it doesn't mean that I rein myself in any way. I still really want to be authentic.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I just want to say what I'm thinking because it's an easier and only way for me to live.
Yeah.
But it's like I do sometimes when I say something, I'm like, oh right, I have to like hedge this bet.
Yeah.
Because
but
otherwise I'm gonna get somebody being like, did you mean? And I was like,
Yeah.
no, I didn't. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I
But
totally
so
get it.
I'm fascinated by your breakdown of, and I think that we should talk more about this, about like what is a real authentic restaurant to you, because I think and we won't play naming them because I don't want to get into naming and shaming, but like we will later. And, but it's just like those places are all like bought and purchased and presented in a package. And to me, it's just like, it's one of the last ways that, I mean, you can do that with art too. You can do that. I mean, you can do that with
this is
No, but I think this is something
I'm
that's
so
transcendent
fascinated.
to, like beyond restaurants.
Yeah,
too.
it's
And
everything.
this- exactly.
That you purchase cool, and then
Yes.
I mean that's why rich people have such an advantage in that world.
Yeah, it's so true.
And it just makes me fucking mad.
Yeah, well, me too. Because even like equating it to music, it's like it's when we cheapen things to the point of excess, it becomes unbelievably annoying. Because
Thank you.
I and you as well. We all come up in the world of like to me the sort of the final aspect of music is creating an album, right? Like it's like the thing that you work your ass off to make this thing, right? And we're now in a world with the TikToks and the this and that, and it's just like it's about the TikToks.
The TikTok. Okay, old man. like you're a lot younger than me. Get out of here.
Yeah, but I've also grown a lot since I've known you for I don't know 10
the
years.
TikToks. I know it's true.
But you know what I mean? It's like you put your heart and soul into this thing, and you want to release this thing, and it gets lost in the mix of everything else.
Of other people not putting their heart and soul into it. How fucking dare they?
I'm going to churn out 500 songs this year, and like a couple of them are going to stick, and that's my thing. I'm going to make a video of me making beats, and they're going to go viral. But is my music actually good? No.
I literally pictured like red beats when you said that.
No, I'm talking like MPC, like hip hop beats.
I get it now. Yeah.
But like it cheapens all of it, and it also again in the food world, it's like no different from like the. Do you remember the era of the aerial? What still exists, but the aerial view, like TikTok, BuzzFeed, how to make a guacamole kind of shit thing.
Oh yeah,
sure,
like,
yeah. It's like
yeah, and all the sound effects so
like,
aggressive.
Actually, well, that's I would love to hear your opinion on that whole thing, because it's like most of the people nowadays that I know who make food are making food off of like someone's TikTok recipe.
Like people, like home cooks, you mean?
Yeah, like just people making food at home.
Like
it's
the feta cherry tomato thing.
Whatever,
That's-
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like which is, I mean, that's a lot of feta. Too much feta.
It's really bad.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, these people, like, it's not a real recipe.
No,
Yeah.
and that blows me away. That like, but this is but then that becomes the norm because people start making it, and because that's
We
the
just
thing that
keep
they're seeing.
lowering our
And then
bar.
The standard becomes
Exactly.
So you can no longer, what is that called?
even understand good food.
You know, under the bar, that thing, that dance.
Oh, not a hula hoop.
I can't remember either.
Oh my god!
What
the thing where you go into the
Lute? It starts with an L,
Oh my
right?
God.
What is it called?
What the fuck is it called?
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, we can edit through this so it seems like we thought of it faster, but it's actually going to drive me crazy.
It's
Lombo,
my God.
humbug, humbug.
what the fuck is it
Okay,
called?
we're gonna circle back.
We all know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we know what we're talking about.
Why
but the
can't
bar
I
is so
do
low that you can't
Yeah.
even this
You can't-
under
you
it.
can't- Yeah.
You can't get
This.
under it.
How do you guys not know this
I
word?
know,
I'm
but-
the one who's more likely to have early onset Alzheimer's
Oh,
than
God.
you.
Wait, why can't I think of this
Whatever. Let's
word?
move on.
Yeah.
It'll come to us. But
will.
but the bar is
So
super low.
low.
That. But it's not even that it's low. It's that it's passable. So here's a question.
Mm.
And okay, I almost feel like someone's gonna definitely call me out for this, but I feel like
Maybe
the
it'll be me.
concept of gatekeepers has been so
boy.
destroyed recently when there is an unfortunate plus to it. For example,
Wait, that was a very awkward sentence. I'm trying to parse it. Okay.
So for example, if I were to ask somebody about food or restaurants, I should ask you,
Sure.
not the fucking whoever on TikTok.
Right.
Okay.
Like, it's become too accessible in the place where like people who
Exactly.
have
But
no
that's kinda
right
the
to
same-
be experts
yes.
are playing experts.
But that's what the internet did to us.
Yeah.
I used to have to fucking go through Melody Maker and NME
Yeah.
to find out, like literally, and talk to my friends who were like cooler than me a little. And that's how I found music
Yeah.
Right.
when I was 14.
Right.
It was like, what's this? I remember this so clearly that I would like be sitting in, and this is to your point. I'd be sitting in the back of like my friend's, mom's Honda Civic, and then just like, this like Stone Roses song, like bass line kicks in, and just like the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be
Yeah,
the person
yeah,
in the car
yeah.
that doesn't know
No.
because,
Right.
and like Shazam I fucking would have killed
Yeah.
for
For
Shazam as a
Shazam.
14-year-old
You
girl.
probably had to wait a
and
couple of weeks till you
finally
figured out
I was
what
like,
it was.
hey, who is this?
Yeah.
And nobody responded because I'd been so like meek about my ask with these
Right.
like hot boys in the front seat. And then I was like, hey guys, who is this again? Because
song is
I
this
just
again?
forgot. I just forgot.
He's
And
gotta
it was
throw
just
that
like,
again at the
You know,
end.
I Am the Resurrection or whatever it was. And it's just like, and then you clock it, and then you have to go down to rotate this.
Yeah. And then some
buy
assholes behind the desk being like, "Pff,
Well, it was Chris Harper. we know who it was.
oh, I know. Because I had the same thing though when I was
Yeah.
young. And I would
You had to work for it.
Yeah, you had to work for it. Where,
Yeah.
like, I remember wanting to go to rotate this and wanting whatever I picked up to be
Approved.
To be not even approved. It's for someone to be like, like.
Yeah,
cool.
100%. You want the
That's
you
really
have
a
like,
good choice,
oh, bro,
yeah,
you have
yeah.
good taste.
Because you know how many
vibes.
times I would buy
Yes.
something and some guy would who again I'm
Roll
like
his
friends with
eyes.
a lot of them they'd be like da 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 and I'd be like oh.
And it would always be like Liz Fair or something, where how fucking dare you? And it's like steeped in misogyny, but
Yeah.
whatever. That's a whole
That's
other
the-
subject.
Hey, we love this fair on
But
this
I do
podcast.
think we need to like coalesce this point because this point is very important
Yeah.
that we're all kind of dancing around. And the point is that like the access that everybody has to like cool or to like things that appear to be cool has really changed our perception of what that is.
Yeah.
And it has lowered bars,
Yes.
and it is just like I don't really know how you come back from that. Like it's not like I don't want to be like the dad being like, well, TV's ruined the world. Like it's not
Yeah.
that. Like the internet's amazing, obviously, but like how do we get to a point where we can actually where it's not so easy to cheat at it? Where it's
Yes.
like like I used to look at somebody in my high school and be like, oh, we have similar interests, but you can tell because we're like dressed. We're
Yeah.
both wearing Converse,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah,
like
yeah.
super beat up because we're white, or like what I know, like whatever. Like you'd have that like, hey, we have something in common.
Yes,
I can
but-
tell. I can see my tribe members,
Right,
and
but-
like people don't want to talk about it like that ever.
I know.
But
no.
nowadays there's no like because there's the homogeny of style and culture.
Yes.
Like, you don't get that same differentiation where it's
Yes.
like people wearing what you would wear are not necessarily
not
interested
cool.
in the same
Yeah.
things you're interested
Well,
in.
and I-
Yeah,
But-
or they're just deeply not cool.
Or they're
It's like
deeply
whatever that
not
means. I know
cool.
it sounds so like I know
yeah.
saying
No,
cool,
no,
it's like-
no,
but you
no.
know what I mean.
We
I know
gotta
you know
get
what I mean.
right into
Yeah.
to
Well,
it,
it's-
and then
it's-
we can.
But I think it's so important.
No,
And it even
100%.
goes down to the like I remember like like you were saying like I remember like being somewhere and seeing someone wearing a band shirt and being like, yo, you like Joy Division? Like, holy shit. But and this could also
It's
be
not the
actually
sa- no, it's
slightly
true.
steeped in misogyny in the sense of like, fashion and people just wearing vintage shirts and whatever. But like, I do get But it just
I don't think that's I don't think that's let me tell you what misogyny is. Okay?
I'm just saying, like, you could create an angle out of that.
Absolutely,
like,
you could. You can create an angle out of anything, and people do. Guys, I'm having fun. This is so fun.
I knew you'd have a good time. We haven't even hit the topics list, and I love it. I love that we're just going. No, this is good. But do you not? So you do agree that there is almost like, because it's we have to find a middle ground, because obviously
Just like love each other, you mean?
no, but you don't want it to be this, like, we shouldn't erase the democracy that is the internet, of everything being accessible to everyone.
No, it should be. Of course it should
but
be.
But at the same time, we still need to respect those that have, dedicated their
Do we
lives
think
to one
that
thing.
Okay, so let's talk about maybe just literature for one second, because I think in literature those kind of trends still exist, but like the good shit does still rise to the top. Maybe not on the Goodreads like lists exactly, but I do think, and I think in music too. Like, I think I'm a good-ish judge of somebody who's not in music, who like exists outside it and loves it.
Mm-hmm.
I maybe don't know all the inside baseball. I maybe don't know who all the rapists are, but I have suspicions. Like, like it's like I can see it from the outside and go, okay, this person, I can see how they're being derivative. I can see how they stole well here. I can see all the New Order licks in this song. Like and I can tell it's still cool no matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah, and like, and we all know, like, what's that band that not like Las Vegas band that's the like
Killers.
Mormon guy. Like, we all know the Killers write great songs, but they're not cool. Like,
Exactly.
we all know that. Like, that's just an understanding.
Yeah.
Wait,
well, I'm trying
you made a face.
I think the Killers are pretty cool.
Cool.
No, they're
not cool. Are you kidding
Brendan
me?
Flowers is
guy?
not
Who
cool.
is this fucking guy?
I don't know.
Oh, shit.
He's your friend, Josh.
I
The
like
Killers are cool. Austin, last name unknown.
Right.
Well, as the older of the two podcasters here, I like to establish truth.
Okay, well, then here's
the Killers are-
How old is Austin?
I'm 25.
And
I'm a
how
Gen
old are you
Z.
again?
33.
Oh yeah, you're like, it's like worlds apart.
Yeah.
Like, actually, but it actually
It is, though, at that
it is,
age.
But
like,
there's a nice balance to it. It
Yeah,
works
yeah.
out. But I've always thought of the Killers as cool as being a Gen Z.
Yeah,
I don't know,
wrong,
but
wrong.
Again,
100% wrong.
I'm not going to speak for the entire
well,
generation.
no, they were the
They made it accessible.
Simply put, the Strokes were the cool band.
Yeah.
And they got to a point, and the Killers took that formula and made it
like
accessible.
mainstream
That's
as
fair.
possible.
Yeah.
And
That's
which
it.
is cool if you love money.
I do love them.
So that's pretty cool.
They really did it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the first red flag with the Killers was the fact that they were from Vegas.
Oh,
And-
I didn't even know that. See, these are things I don't
I didn't know the
wanna
Mormon part until
I wasn't
that.
He's so
here for
Mormon.
the
That's his
rise.
whole thing.
No, I know. I'm saying I didn't know that
And
until
everyone
later.
knows Mormon is the coolest religion ever. So there's that as well. Like, as religions go.
At one point,
Austin's like feeling ashamed, and he
I
just
know.
wants to
I
pivot.
don't
He
feel
just-
ashamed. I think this is because like I wasn't there for.
Yes.
Because he's
the
so young, is what he's
rise of
saying.
it
He's
because
trolling
I'm-
us.
because I'm a baby, because I'm 12.
Oh, so now I'm old.
Exactly. Like, oh, I just have baby skin. I'm just a baby. I'm just so young. I wasn't there.
But right, like I wasn't there for that. So I always just like I liked the music, and that was I didn't get the cultural
it's
idea
great.
around.
They
it.
wrght great songs.
No, they do. That's the thing. They are
songs.
good
That's the
songs.
thing, and it's
They're good
it's like
songs.
not lame to like them, but it's just an understanding.
Yes.
That you're not. I guess you're millennial, firmly millennial.
Yeah. I'm like millennial.
Old, young millennial, older millennial,
I think I'm just millennial.
millennial, just right in the heart
Just
of it.
like
And I'm deeply Gen X.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then we got
And
three
you're Gen Z.
generations.
Well,
I'm
Gen Z and Gen
head of
X
MG.
are like, I think, connected,
I
and
think
then
so.
millennials and boomers are connected.
Oh, get the fuck out of here!
True. This
Howdy.
is a true fact. I've been
I wanna
workshopping
hear
it on
this
Twitter.
explained. I want to hear.
I know.
this explained.
I saw the tweets. I saw the tweets.
Okay. So my theory is that my parents were like a lot of things. They're also dead, which is why I'm using past tense. And they were deeply uncool. Like my dad played clarinet in a jazz band and did that in somehow the least cool way possible. But also was like super handsome. So like balance.
Right.
Cheekbones, he had cheekbones for days. So and like they just weren't cool. Like they got married in 1969 and they didn't understand any of the other stuff that was happening in
Right.
1969. Like they were not at the orgies. They were not doing that stuff.
Yes.
And
Zero hippie.
Yeah, zero. So I think by the nature of that kind of person, which was a lot of the people, like the culture, like the counterculture was a small portion of the population. They ended up raising kids generally speaking, and specific to me, but mostly generally speaking, that were like pushing against that and pushing back. And we grew up in the suburbs,
Right.
and we like fought our way out of the suburbs and played rock music in garages,
Yeah.
rock music,
Rock and roll music in
rock and roll
garages.
music in garages. And and I know that's a lot of people's experience, but it felt deeply 90s. The 90s were also incredibly cynical,
Yeah.
in like, which is of course the best kind of humor,
Yeah.
and also super misogynist.
Yeah.
Again, the best kind of humor. So. Like, don't you hate bitches? So I like that. I feel like that kind of cynicism that I grew up with really marked me, and I have to fight against it in lots of ways. Like in terms of like, first of all, wanting to both like be men and fuck men, like the cool, like it's like trying to like, and the approval of men, all that stuff was so important to me for so
Right.
long, and I really had to grow out of it. And I did eventually, but it's like, that's because you're allowed to change your mind as you grow up. Like that's what you're supposed to do.
True.
And then with millennials, I think millennials had a lot of like older Gen X parents. Theory. This is just a theory, not specific to you, Josh. You're very cool. You're not like the other millennials. So like I think there's like
I have a
some
podcast.
older Gen X parents who are like in their 60s now, who have like millennial kids. Does that math?
See, it kind
track?
of doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm trying to figure this out.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just a fun theory.
It's a theory.
Yeah,
and
keep
then,
going.
and so like
Workshop.
millennials, grew up with internet, without internet, in this, this really sort of strange way, and just like seem to want to like please everyone, which
Right.
I never wanted to do. Not
I mean,
you,
you're
Josh.
Actually, no,
Not
you're
you.
actually. When you put it that way, I'm actually not gonna disagree with you. on this,
Interesting.
because I never-
Millennials
twist.
wanted to please people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to.
But in something, and that's something I don't see in Gen Z. Although I do sit in the coffee shop a lot and notice young kids who go to high school, who I guess are still considered Gen Z, who are so polite in the coffee shop, but also just like so deeply cool.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
well, I'm never gonna wear those jeans. Those jeans aren't for me. But like, I appreciate everything you're about.
Yeah,
But I
You
also
know?
think that this is what we're talking about is like it's really hard to determine who's cool in Gen Z because they all have access.
There's a homogeneity to
Exactly.
their look.
So it's
Interesting
like
twist. Do I
you
not
don't-
know?
Well,
you might not. You
Maybe
might
I don't
not.
know.
You might not know because again, you might see someone wearing and
presenting as very cool.
Yeah,
but they're
cool
not.
presenting.
But they're not at all.
but they're not at all.
That's a very real thing.
They're like actually a millennial.
I'm old Gen Z, so I still like.
Okay.
I feel like I have a lot of millennial characteristics.
What's the year that it starts? What's the year?
1997.
Okay, and who determines that? They?
The advertising industry. That's who it is.
Oh, it's they.
It's them.
Oh, it's them.
It's them. It's them.
Wait, what is your industry? Like, I know you work in restaurants, but like, what's the thing
in
that?
film. It's
Okay,
like
okay.
yeah.
Okay,
That's the main thing.
right.
What was I saying? But yeah, so it's hard to tell who's cool in Gen Z.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
really hard.
Which, when you actually think,
Maybe
about
they're all cool.
absolutely not.
Nobody's fucking cool.
Absolutely
Almost
not.
nobody is cool.
If everybody is cool, no one's cool.
I mean,
Yeah,
truly
then-
true.
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anything,
Guys, we're
being
really
like,
cracked the case
I
here.
know. I think we
Being like-
did. We actually kind of did.
being like full normie Gen Z is cool.
Also cool, and that was we
That's
had.
cooler.
That's cool.
But we had that moment like 10 years ago.
Normcore.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did.
10
Yeah.
years ago?
Who do you
Yeah.
think invented normcore?
Yeah, I know.
Millennials.
But also, okay, let's talk about how easily we forget history and how
Yeah.
easily
Yeah,
we
it's
forget
true. Yeah,
who
probably
cracked the
normcore.
door so you could walk through it. Another person 10 years ago, you don't remember them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is very upsetting.
Time, as you said before, time is a flat.
Fucking flat ass circle. So annoying.
But then why do I, as a millennial, have the utmost respect for the Gen X?
You're special, Josh.
No, but that's the shit that to me, again, equating it to music.
because
is
Gen
the-
X is cool.
See,
Yeah, I know.
I know. I'm kidding.
But he has no respect for his elders. You see?
Yeah, because I know. Have you met these Gen Z
That's
people?
what I'm saying.
Like they're even worse than we were.
Yes, you're gonna
like,
say.
But that's where I think the bond is.
Yeah, yeah.
I honestly think you're proving my theory right now.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Like it's like we hate what we are. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Well, I just hate everybody else except for myself.
I also like. I feel really. I don't think I have the perspective to speak on behalf of Gen Z. I don't think I.
I don't-
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
also
so that's so
don't
kind
think-
of you. Really,
I
like,
don't know.
I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy. I'm just like a white man. like, I don't know. Like, I can't speak for
No,
myself.
but I just don't get it enough. I think because
Right.
I'm still like I feel more.
You're not in touch.
Sometimes I feel more millennial than I feel Gen Z. So
But
it's
here's a little twist though to think
Okay.
about. That is definitely a thing that's
And most of
happening
my
right
friends are
now.
millennials.
Is as we're saying with the sort of the Gen Z and the access to everything cool and like how you can't tell the cool ones from the uncool
Right.
ones. What has that created? That has now created this almost like Patreon Substack world of like new right wing hidden like for example like a Vincent Gallo.
Whoa, what?
Are you not familiar with this?
Okay,
Because this is
This
like
is
a
the
thing,
thing.
like a thing.
I don't think I'm gonna like it.
So here's
There's
what's
not much to be liked.
Here's what's happening. So you're getting basically in order to be subversive in the.
Oh, no, I get where you're going. Oh my God, I hate it so much.
Yeah.
Like this is like happening though because.
Sorry, explain it better because I just interrupted
but
you.
what's happening
But
is you are finding people reverting. The only way to
push back.
the pushback
Yeah.
and to become
The only way to become different than your peers and
is
become the
to
whole
go
culture
into
is to
this
go-
like
It's
tradition.
to go boomer.
It's
Oh my God.
That's what Gen Z are doing to
so
become subversive.
funny.
They're becoming boomer.
but it's
I
like literally-
hate this.
But it's happening and like you're.
Why are we
seeing
such
it.
predictable little stupid dancing monkeys?
It's
Yeah.
literally it's
Yeah.
it's truly a flat circle. It's
Yeah.
just a cycle.
Oh,
of the
it
same
really
shit.
is.
it's just it's like it's but the thing is I think it's like you can't not like one thing about like the left without becoming full right. Do you know what I mean? Like there seems to be no nuance in the
People
conversation.
hate nuance.
Yeah, no one likes but because everybody hates nuance, we get pigeonholed into these boxes, right? And so and then we become those boxes. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's
Yeah,
like,
I do.
It's
Yeah.
it's if like I think what happened there is people were reacting to things that they didn't like about the left, and then
Which, I mean, there's a lot to
there's
hate.
a lot to hate about
Let's
the
be
left,
real.
and there's a lot to hate about both.
Yeah.
So people were criticizing the left, and then being pigeonholed as right wingers, and
then
then they filled that role.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's
You
like
know?
it's the kind of thing.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You might as well just move on with it.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's the problem with the two-party system in America.
But is the two-party system? I feel like the two-party system is bigger than a system that. The two-party system is in our brains. You know what I mean? And it
Right.
has been like there's been that dichotomy between good and evil, or
Yeah.
between things. Like there's that two-party system is much more than just like a government institutionalized thing. That's something that's like human.
Yeah, I
Do you know what I
think
mean?
that's true. Yeah.
And so
That's true.
like right, do we need institutions that then break away from the? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Like,
I do. I definitely
I
do. Like,
don't
I don't
know.
know how. I mean, I just think people are dumb. Like 95%. Like it's
Yeah.
like really that's kind of what it comes down to. People are really quite dumb.
Yeah.
And so
We need.
good luck us.
No, yeah.
Like,
what do we
listen,
do?
we're already like pre-water wars. Like, your
Water wars
grandkids
coming.
are in the water wars, and
yeah.
unfortunately, we do have a lot of water here.
Yeah.
So they're in
Canada's the
the
place.
water wars, and you got to teach your kids to fight. Okay, like with like brooms and shit, because like
It's very rudimentary. Just
just
Dude,
fight
yeah.
with brooms, like not Harry Potter style, but I'm like I've never seen Harry Potter
maybe.
before, but I started watching it.
They're
I've
so
never
good.
seen it, and they're quite fun.
They're pretty
quite fun.
fun.
I know. Like, what's her name is canceled for very good reasons,
Yeah,
but they're
she's
quite
a turf,
fun.
but, you
They're
know.
quite fun.
But they're good movies. I no, honestly,
Bad
I have.
people can make good things.
Oh my God, what? Okay, so I was singing along to Morrissey as I do
Yes.
in the car today, and it
Yeah.
was every day is like Sunday, and it's a great song, of course, and it's Morrissey is such a piece of shit, as I'm sure we all know.
worst.
I love
Like, he's
Kanye
really
West.
the worst.
Real
He's a
piece of
real-
shit.
I like Vincent
Okay,
Gallo.
we have to talk about that vis-a-vis Roland momentarily because
Okay.
you know about his giant Yeezy collection. Anyway,
I mean, yes, I do.
Yeah.
Because I
So-
got one upstairs.
so I'm singing along and Roland's like, I thought that guy was canceled, and I was like, okay, but you know what? Actually, I don't care. I love this song, and
the
I just
songs
made a
mean too much
decision
to me.
on the highway today that I just didn't. It wasn't
And
the
you know
highway,
what?
but yeah.
I unfortunately
care.
have to completely agree with that because that's they're not to get. Okay,
But with the degrees, like, is Woody Allen movies like kind of ruined for me?
But honestly,
Pedophile, though.
honestly,
Pedophile.
I know, but honestly, like, I
But honestly, Annie Hall's amazing.
that's what I was just about to say. I was literally gonna say.
Such
Okay,
a
guys,
bummer.
was the first-
this is it. This is how I get canceled. This show. You're doing it. This is the gotcha moment. It's very
No,
upsetting.
but I'm saying it more than you, so I'll take the hit because
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah,
I struggle.
if you
with
edit me out, to take care of me, I will actually be offended.
I will.
That's
not-
misogyny.
I will
That's
not.
misogyny.
No. We're going in. No, but I'm that person though, because like
Yeah, I know.
I
I get
have
it.
this struggle where I'm like, good art is something that you feel and you enjoy, and if you truly feel and enjoy the good art, does that person being a bad person make it bad art? No. And if it does,
You'd
then
have to
you don't
cancel
actually
almost
care about
everything.
good
They're
art.
all bad. Like, have you met?
Everybody's
Have you
bad.
met rock stars?
Have you ever met musicians? They're
like
terrible
people. Like, and very.
Yes. No. Like this is literally my industry, and like, do you know how many like people?
Not all musicians, of course. Not my friends who are musicians.
Without even going
Dan.
to without even going to like a very dark place, even just at fucking base level, they're like pretty shitty people. Like,
And then, okay,
egos.
We
and
can,
fucking,
there's something
like-
we're going to talk about after hours, and I can't wait to talk about it. But we're not talking about it right now, and you know exactly what it is. But yeah, what's Roland supposed to do? Like, not wear the shoes that are the most comfortable for him, even because he had a stroke.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for someone to come for him about his Yeezys, and I'll be like, "Fuck
Well,
you."
I don't know which ones he has, but maybe he has the ones that don't lace up.
He actually doesn't. But,
you know-
but honestly, we should
But
think about it. We should think about it. And also, you think other sneaker company owners are good people?
Exactly.
Like the-
Yeah. That's
Like,
that's
get
the big.
out of here.
I'm
And
sorry,
it's-
Adidas was
and this is why
started
everyone
by
hates
Nazis.
liberals.
This was the thing I was talking about with like Elon Musk. Not that I but like when Elon
Wait,
Musk
not that you
took
what?
over-
What was the yada 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 there?
Not that I'm like endorsing Elon Musk.
Oh,
but, like,
yeah,
the
no,
thing is,
don't.
like he's very apparently who he is, and he's a very apparently
It's nicer
a
that
shitty
way.
dude. And I would much.
That's what I hate about
prefer that.
liberals.
Transparency.
That's what I hate about fucking liberals. Like they hide their misogyny.
Yeah.
They like hide all of their ugliness. They hide all their racism under these like swaths of. Hey, brother.
Yeah.
With what I'm doing now visually for the people, because this is radio. I'm grabbing a shoulder. I'm
Yeah.
grabbing Roland's shoulder with my hand in what I believe to be a collegial manner, but it's actually super condescending.
Right. Yeah.
And then the head tilt. How
Because
are you?
They're hiding it because they're hiding it from themselves. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
of course.
Don't
They're
even-
like- they
they're
do-
so like they
don't
would
see
not
color.
accept. Yeah, they
Yeah.
would not believe that they could be racist.
Yeah, it's the 90s.
You know.
Because it wasn't the 80s, it was the 90s when people were saying that. Yeah, it's really crazy, and it's so upsetting, and it does. Yeah, it's so hard.
But that's the thing. It's I don't know. I think that we, like we're saying with not separating art from artists, blah 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 bullshit.
again,
but same with the fucking tech billionaires who run everything that we unfortunately have to.
Do I have to
use.
archive my tweets? Like, do I have to do that? Because I need them. I need them for research. Like when I go when I'm writing, I go back and I look at where I was in my
there is
life.
apparently, I saw. I'll send it to you. But somebody had tweeted a thing that is literally you can click and archive everything.
Okay, I
in
need
a
it
click.
because I think it might not work out.
Well, you should probably do it in the next.
24 hours.
Yeah.
So you think Twitter's
I mean, I don't know what I think. Like, and I actually don't. Okay, it's really complicated because Twitter is not cool. But
No, I'd say it's the coolest
But
one.
I also I got so much out of it.
Yeah.
And I can't deny that. And I really hate all these earnest posts, tweets that people are tweeting right now, which is, well, this is where I met my husband and my or whatever. Like people are tweeting like so much, and it's like, no, fuck off. Like, but also it's true, so I can't hate on it that much. Like I've met lifelong friends.
Yeah.
There's no question that if I did not have a Twitter feed and presence, I would not have gotten the book deal that I got.
Right.
There's just no question.
And that's
So-
surprisingly. I can name several people that I know
100%.
who would say the same thing. Who literally
Yeah.
got book deals out of a Twitter following and constant,
And
critique
because
of certain
you-
things.
you're-
and people
voice
being
is
like,
out.
"Oh, you
And a
can write.
personality.
You have a voice."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, bitch, I do." Here it is.
Yeah.
It's actually a lot worse than you thought it was.
Yeah, I'm gonna go even deeper.
So I don't know. Yeah. So I'm like, I would be very sad if I lost that platform. Like, I
Yeah.
really genuinely don't love what's happening.
Right.
But I do kind of love. Somebody tweeted, I retweeted it about like the sort of freedom everyone's feeling right now to just just
Yeah,
fucking tweet
talked about
whatever.
this- we talked about this before you got here. How arguably Twitter has been the best it's
Kind of-
ever
I
been in the
know.
last
Yeah.
24
Are you
hours.
on Twitter? You're
Yeah,
too
yeah, I
young.
have a
You're too
very-
young.
No, Twitter is I don't want to say a big Gen Z thing, but it's been very big for me.
Sorry,
All of
excuse
high
me.
school-
Let's just have a little high five, secret high five moment. Gen X, Gen Z, high fives.
Sorry. Well, yeah. You know which generation made Twitter popular? Millennials.
That's okay.
Who?
Twitter's for everybody. Twitter's for everybody. But no, Twitter's huge for.
That's fascinating to
No,
me.
again, I can't.
That can't be
speak on this
true.
because
But I think that you. I
maybe
think that
I'm just-
you.
I thought it
being-
was TikTok.
I think that you being a
I'm not on
late, but him
TikTok.
being a
I'm
late
late. Yeah,
Gen Z.
Maybe you're a millennial, babe.
Millennial. I think
He's
maybe a
cusp. He's
millennial.
cusp.
I'm cusp.
I feel like that is like you probably got I feel like you probably got on Twitter when you were super young and it felt super subversive to you, which is
Yeah.
why you have this like
You were like, it's pretty right wing here. I love it. I honestly,
No, 'cause
these feel
Twitter
like real laughs. These feel like real laughs. If you guys are,
Twitter when I got on it was so not right wing.
yeah.
Like, or at least not the side that I was on. Like, it was.
Well, it's
that
an
was
echo
how
chamber, though,
That was,
of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Twitter and Tumblr were how I like became a feminist, which apparently I'm not allowed to be anymore. But like, it was like.
who told you you're not allowed to be a
That
feminist?
was like a big infograph thing that I saw.
You saw an infograph that
was
told
like
you
it was
to
that-
actually hate women and hate
No,
women
it wasn't
instead.
that you can't hate women. But it was saying that like Twitter or that feminism is not for men.
Okay, because how are we going to change it? By men not getting on board? That's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
Yeah.
It's
But I
fucking
think
stupid.
that alienated a lot of people because there was like a big movement towards like just feminism not being
Incels?
for men.
I mean, I know what you're talking about, and it's just like, well, how do you think
Yeah, no,
this is going to work? The people with all the power are not going to be on our side, and then
Yeah.
like, are you? That's dumb.
And whereas
Like I
I-
said, people are very dumb.
same with,
Whereas I remember feminism like when it first
Do you remember feminism?
when I first
Oh my
when I-
God, that's
when it first when feminism
Cringe, you are a
when I
millennial.
fir-
when
Okay,
feminism dropped.
When I personally first got introduced
Heard
to
about
like
feminism
internet
and
feminism,
realized women were people. Like,
look, I deserve this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
do.
deserve this roast, Austin.
okay.
Maybe you
When I
are
first-
Gen Z.
When I
Don't
first
let him
got
edit this.
introduced
We're not going to.
when I first got introduced to like internet feminism, right? When I was like 14.
Okay,
right?
okay.
It was
Like porn and internet feminism.
It was around the time of Meninism. Do you guys remember that little?
Yeah, I
tiny
do.
I don't. What is
Internet.
that?
Oh my God,
phenomenon?
are you kidding?
It
Oh
was
my God.
very small.
What's
It was-
Meninism?
Meninism was
So where
this,
men's
like-
groups
it was
come from.
It was pre-incel. It was pre-incel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there was this, but feminism at this time, when I was 14
Right.
on Twitter,
Like 10 years
was yeah, 11
Math's not my strong suit.
was feminism was all about like how. Or at least the things I was saying in response to Meninism was about how feminism was also for men and was also trying to demolish like the toxic
Fucking right it is.
male roles. Right. That's what I. And so,
That's the right thing, yes.
That I feel like has.
I'm having the rest of the
changed
wine
to a
because you guys
certain
have
Oh,
beers
wait,
and I
wait,
don't.
no,
Okay.
degree. Yeah, that I feel like has changed to a degree.
Well, this sort of equates to the sort of
Okay, wait. I want to hear how you think it's changed because I'm fascinated by this.
because of this idea that like feminism is not for men. And
No, but
like
how has
that-
it changed? Like, how are you seeing that change over the last 10 years? Like, you're saying that this idea has become ingrained. Like,
I think it's become more think of my words carefully here.
I'm going to troll you no matter what.
No, I know.
So it doesn't matter. You can say whatever you want.
Well, I just feel like there's been a more exclusive idea around feminism and around how, and I think I get it. I get where it's coming from, but it's made it alienating to certain men who want to be.
I don't think intellectuals are
helpful.
talking like this, right? Like, no, I don't mean like. I
Yeah.
mean like I don't think that this idea is existing in. I mean, it can't be because it's so stupid.
Right.
But what I'm sort of gathering from what you're saying, which I can equate to
So
you know,
worrying.
black
Like
rights and whatnot, and how things have happened is that you do see
black rights and whatnot.
But I'm saying that
I
no,
troll equally.
as a black
Equal
man, let
opportunity.
me say this. No, but what I'm saying is that like you see things. Basically, what I think the problem. This goes back to the internet. Is oftentimes what goes viral and what gets shown to us is oftentimes the most extreme take on an otherwise positive
Right.
movement.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yes.
so
Okay.
so you're getting this extreme thing that is like not wrong, But it's like it's not the only aspect.
It's also
of it.
it's the headline kind of thing too, where it's like
it's reading the headline and not reading the
back
article.
to nuance, where this is one side of the hexagon,
Exactly,
where it's like, yeah, actually feminism is for women, but also ...
It helps
for everybody.
We need everybody on
to
board.
be on
It is for
board,
everybody,
exactly, yeah.
and like that's what intersectional feminism is about. Of course, it's for everybody.
Yeah.
To get better, it improves everyone's
No,
lives.
and
when you
that's-
improve
and
the
that's-
life of the most oppressed people.
Yeah, exactly. No,
it's very nice.
I completely agree, and it's just always funny that people that it has, unfortunately, like that has excluded. And probably converted people into this, into
incel behavior.
It converts
exactly.
stupid people.
Yes.
Right? It's like,
I mean, that's
if
how-
if
yes.
you're not able to sit back and like recognize the nuance of that and be like, well, okay, they're saying this, but also these are stupid people, or like this whole thing is like again like a short and condensed headline that's not capturing the highlighted nuanced issue. But if you see that as like a young 14-year-old white dude,
I know,
it's
so scary.
then you're like, well, fuck.
It's all so complicated. And this
What were you and Jamal looking at that age, other than pornography?
At what age? Sorry.
At 14. Like what's your like memory of that time of?
See, for me, it was like.
Porn.
It was just
pornography.
Basically
exclusively porn.
No, because I'm trying to think about. Well, I was very much, the kind of kid that was into like the alternative media or whatever. So I was reading things. Like I had already curved out my own kind of path.
You
and
red pilled already, and you were
no,
like,
I
not
was,
for
no,
me.
But that's because alternative media now is red pilled, but alternative
but
alternative media when we were when I was a kid was
different and better.
was not.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
it was the good one. It was the good one.
was the good
If
one.
there is a good and bad.
But I was also playing into like a character arc that I created of like, well, I'm gonna read Adbusters. I'm gonna read fucking music magazines that as I got older got more and more obscure. I'm gonna like.
I heard you guys talking about magazines in one of the apps.
Yeah.
And I just love. Is this in my imagination or
No,
this?
no.
We were talking about like looking at old.
media.
I honestly, magazines are such beautiful relics.
They're everywhere.
And
literally everywhere.
yeah, it's really true. Holy shit.
Like it's all magazines.
I mean,
plants on
Roland was
magazines,
always
those
really
on
good about magazines too, and it's just like I mean, I grew up on Sassy and like
Yeah.
it was a good young feminist magazine, even though it was probably propaganda for advertisers and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
Well, there's always a way to take advantage of literally anything.
there is.
And
There's always going to be a way.
Yeah, and I think that's where we find ourselves is like these things that are otherwise good have now been capitalized on by
But has
all
that
of the
always been the
corporations.
case?
Of course.
Because
I
I think
love
it's
these
just always
crates. They're so beautiful.
they're usually hidden.
No,
They're usually
they're beautiful. That's just like they're a beautiful display. They're the display milk crates.
just crates.
Yeah, crates, display crates.
They're just to film.
they're
How
like
do you
fancy
guys know
crates.
each other?
They're
Because
nice
you're in
crates.
different.
So this is the funny thing. The sort of arc of this podcast is we haven't even been friends for a year yet.
Yeah.
New friends.
Yeah. So the whole thing is like he will say
Fascinating.
shit that I don't even know that he believes.
And you're like, what the Austin? What the fuck, bro?
No, but it's like
Damn,
but I
bro.
think
Meninist.
but that's what made it fun though. Is like we
Yeah.
met each other, really hit it off. I'd wanted to start this for
That's
a long
so
time.
nice.
It kind of becomes like having three
Yeah, it's like you
it's-
never really know like what's gonna be revealed as far as we
in
go.
the pod.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not that we're like extremists, but like,
No.
but you know what I mean. There's always something that's just like it keeps it exciting for us.
Right.
Like even when we talk, I'm like, did you hear about this? And I'm like, can't believe it. He's like, no, I love it. I'm like, what? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I'm thrilled that we basically haven't talked about restaurants for the last 17 minutes.
That's been great.
Kind of
I like
amazing.
talking about restaurants.
Do you like that? You don't want to talk about restaurants?
Well, no, I will talk about that. I just think it's like nice that we did.
No,
You
it's
know,
good.
yeah,
No, it's good.
we veered. We
We did veer.
Veering
We
back
zigged,
for
we
a second.
zagged.
That
Veering
was a good
back and
veer.
Wait, I wasn't trying to bring it back.
No, let's go back for one second because it all ties in. It all ties
I know,
into
yeah.
to the
It's true.
to the kind of
The theme of this episode.
This theme is like so broad but so connected. I wanted to talk about Yelp reviews because
I've heard of Yelp.
this goes into this again concept of everybody having access to everybody all of a sudden having a voice which,
When they shouldn't.
be a bad thing, but like oftentimes is.
Yeah.
How do
Okay,
you
so first of all,
maneuver?
Yelp. I don't think Yelp's really a thing anymore.
Okay, fair enough. But like,
I think really it's more about Google reviews. Like
Yeah.
that's what people seem to be using, and Open Table Reviews, which is a reservation platform system that are public, and Resi reviews are not public, so you just see a star rating. Okay, so I find them useful in some senses. Like, for example, if somebody is unhinged, it will show in their review.
In their writing style.
Like, and you're just like, okay, I understand what happened here. It's fine. I don't need to dig into this in any way. Yeah. But if somebody's just like, hey, this happened, like, and it's clear they were at your restaurant to not hate fuck you, and they were there to have a good time, and like some shit went wrong, like, and they're clearly not lying about it because it's weird or whatever it is. Like, I will immediately like message the manager. Like, we finally, after years of me begging for this, we have end of service reports. That go. We have a Slack channel that's like each restaurant. I fucking wait for these. Like, I'm waiting for like a Thursday night television drop, which was a thing in the 90s. Like, I'm so excited.
Thursday night.
I'm so excited. Like Twin Peaks on Thursdays. Like, come on. I was there, babe.
The new Seinfeld?
I was there.
I mean, I was too.
The new Seinfeld. Look, it was amazing.
I had 3 years in the 90s.
I was a little baby. So like, I'm watching for these. I'm like, when they drop at 11:30, I'm just like, I kind of, if I'm falling asleep, I'll wake up and it's like what I go to sleep thinking about because I'm a crazy person. But they're so valuable. The Google reviews that are actually just like people that are trying to explain a bad time that happened. Right. And I'll go and I'll be like, okay, I'll go like to Alex, the manager of Vendetta. I'll be like, what happened here? Who was serving this table? And we like figured out, we're little detectives. We're like, oh, this person. Yes, I will cross-reference it in the like the reservation system. And oh, they were in so-and-so section. This is what happened. This is what they said happened. They felt terrible. Like, and we just figure it out. And I love trying to solve that mystery. I think fundamentally it makes the restaurant better, as does like my presence in the restaurants constantly, because I'm like the biggest critic of my own restaurants. And I think that's such an important thing for owners and for chefs to do, and they don't do it enough.
No, I totally agree, because I will say that I think it's amazing that, but I will say the last 2 times I've eaten in restaurants, you were not there.
No. Like, I don't live in the restaurants.
No, but I think it's really cool.
I'm here on a Friday.
Cool, but I think it's
We've discussed this.
I think it's really cool that oftentimes I will go to your restaurants and I will see you, if not in one spot next door, or moving around. You know what I mean? But you're moving around, I think, because...
But when I'm not there and it's still good, that's the fucking dream.
No, it was. I went to Swan like 2 weeks ago. Incredible.
Let him talk.
Incredible.
He went to Swan. It was incredible. You're trying to like get
Sophia Coppola.
I don't want to cut off and
oh my God, I heard you. Honestly, I was legit. Okay, I've met a lot of famous people in my life, and I'm not. I don't care. You know, I genuinely don't care. Like, I'm not performing, not caring at famous people. Like, I'm like, oh, you're an actor. Okay.
But when it's someone you actually fuck
But
with.
I actually and also it's like fucking Phoenix guy was with her, you know?
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, that's her husband.
I did know that.
That's her husband. And so like, I was genuinely like, I saw her in the books and I was just like, wait, and then David, who's one of my partners, was like, oh, it's a 905 number. It's obviously not her. I'm like, oh yeah, she makes her own reservations, like, and doesn't have her Toronto like agency make them for her. Yeah. So yeah, like what?
No, I mean, and
it was her.
I was there
because you saw her.
Lauren and I were sitting there, and she was leaving.
Apparently, they were lovely.
And she walked by, and I was like,
good to know.
I was like, wait,
well, you'd have to be right.
Our friend Norman Wong.
Norman. You texted Norm?
I was like, well, because Norm's the classic fucking just like
whatever.
He's Toronto Hollywood guy. Yeah. He's like, yeah, she's here shooting the movie with Jacob Elordi, who, by the way, lives.
I did know that. It's the Elvis movie, right?
Yeah. Jacob Elordi, just for the listeners, lives on my street right now.
Oh, they're shooting the Priscilla movie.
Yeah.
Priscilla.
Yeah.
But yeah, you to your point, like, they have to be nice. Like, it's crazy when famous people aren't nice. Like, I'm the tiniest bit of like Toronto known. I never say the word famous because I think it's vulgar. Yeah. But like, people know me in restaurants. I think that's fair to say. Yeah. And like, I respect what you're doing, and I'm going to be nice to you. And it's like, why wouldn't I be? But also, I'm very conscious of the fact that like the server probably knows who I am. Yeah. For lack of a better way to put that. Yeah. Even though it makes me feel awful. Yeah. So I'm gonna be fucking nice, and I'm like that. And it's just like, if you're actually famous and you're not super nice to everyone in restaurants, you're really, really fucking up your privilege.
So like, do you feel when you go to restaurants, do you feel, because everybody who, as you said, like not unfortunately, everybody knows who you are, whether you want them to at the time or
it's
not.
Weird.
So like when you go, do you have to like almost kind of be like, just be normal, like don't.
I mean, I think sometimes I have very strange experiences in restaurants where I think like people, like it's been a long time since I've like ever sent anything back because I'm just like not going to do that. And I deeply believe that we should be honest with each other as restaurant people, and it will make a better industry. But I won't be like because because I will
just like working in service in general. Like I feel so bad whenever like I even have the potential to send something back.
Right.
It's just like I won't do it. Like,
Yeah, but I also think like I get this sort of feeling sometimes too that people have, and this could be my own like deep self-absorption, which I am guilty as charged. But like, I think that, people are like imagining me a certain way or have certain expectations of how I am, like as of course Austin did before I got here. And I've shattered them, obviously. Of course. But like, we'll talk about that more. But like, I just think that there'll be this expectation that I'm actually a bitch. Like, LOL, I named my book that for a reason. And then no matter what I do, I'm going to like drive my car into the wall of their expectations or like, so I don't know, it sort of feels futile in some ways. But the problem with having a vagina is that I don't get to just fucking be and live and like do the work and like men do. And it makes me mad because if I could just be and live and do the work, like and not have to think about all the other ways in which I exist in the world, in which I'm being interpreted. Am I being interpreted incorrectly? Because even though I seem like I'm not thinking about that stuff, of course I'm thinking about that stuff. Yeah. And it's just deeply unsettling and upsetting that that's just part of my makeup and my MO at this point.
Well, even with like the title of the book, because I feel like people just like, even me talking to people being like, Jen Egg's coming over tomorrow. She's going to be on the pod.
Wait, is this a true story you're about to tell me?
I'm not going to name names, but people are also just like, ooh, that's going to be a spicy episode.
And
She's
it is.
And it is. I mean, they were right. But do you not like? How does it make you feel just to know that like this sort of almost character that people have built around you as being like because for example,
outspoken's a weird word.
I've known you for forever.
Yeah.
And we've always just been friends. I was like, oh, she's super nice. But it's like even when you named your book, like I hear she's a real bitch. It's like. I always knew
you got the joke.
Yeah, no, of course I got the joke, but it's like I get it, but it was also just like why is this a thing? Because if anything, you've always just been like someone who just is like, no, I like that and I don't like that.
Well, you're not allowed to have those kind of opinions when you're a woman. Like, I mean, it sounds so simple, and especially, oh my gosh, especially. See, you did your research, especially in this provincial fucking country where like. We don't want to be a tall poppy. We don't want to rise above. Like they will cut us off, throw us in the mulcher. Like I've said versions of that a million times. Like it's so hard in this country to be the person that I am, vagina or no vagina. Yeah. With vagina extra hard. Like it's just it's extra hard vagina. Anyone? Any takers?
Another like episode title.
I honestly think extra hard vagina is a really good. I think we had another good one, but this is a contender. Could have been a contender. We'll think about it. We'll think about it. Anyone? Any takers?
Another good episode title.
I honestly think extra hard vagina is a really good. I think we had another good one, but this is a contender. Could have been a contender.
Okay. I'm going to edit this. So I will.
We'll think about it. We'll think about it.
I'll option it. I'll workshop it with you. I'll give you the options.
I don't know. It's just deeply upsetting, and it's like I know that the people around me in my life love me and understand me and appreciate me, for the most part. But it's crazy to be in any way anyone's caricature, and it's just a weird feeling. And I know that I figured out how to do it, and I can feel this switch flipping when it's happening, when in conversation with people who don't know me.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, right, now I'm performing, and which I'm not doing now, and like.
So you do you do play into the character.
No.
This
I
might-
mean,
I asked as a question,
I mean
not as
the
a-
talking to strangers
Yes,
performance.
yes.
I don't mean playing into the character.
Okay.
I mean like literally just like when I'm talking to people in the restaurants. Like when someone comes up to you and says, "I loved your book and I'm such a big fan of your restaurants." Like, who wouldn't want to hear that about something that they labored
made.
over
Yeah.
so
Right.
intensely?
Yeah.
Of course, it's wonderful, and I would never be upset to hear that. And I love hearing it. And then like some people just like they drop that and then they high five and they're out, and I'm just like, I fucking love you.
Yeah.
And then some people, and that's because it's so nice. And then some people don't. They're more awkward, or they don't know how to. And I don't like. It doesn't bother me, but it's at the same time, it's just like. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. I've put so much of myself out there in my book, and it's so personal. And so when it feels like people think that they know you and they don't, it's a very, very strange feeling.
Do people ever come up to you and talk to you in a way where they're almost trying to get you to respond in a certain way? Like, do they egg you on?
They do that to my husband. You know what they say to my? Well, they don't do it anymore, but they used to say to Roland all the time, like, imagine this. Imagine, like, Roland actually loves me. And somebody comes up to him in Rum Corner, where he's literally in the corner and is now cornered by a white woman or a white man. And they say something like, so, Jen, you're married to Jen. What's that like? I'm like, what do they think my husband of many years is going to say? And you know what? And you know what he says? And I mean, he's been quoted on this before, and I think it's the funniest thing ever. He just looks at me and goes, "Feminist is a good fuck." And I really think, and he just like shuts them down instantly. It's like a general statement, also true in his experience with me. And like, it's just, you know, like, what do you think my husband is going to say? Do you think my husband's going to like shit talk me to you, a fucking stranger?
Yeah.
But it used to happen a lot more. He says it's happening. We talked about it recently. And he says it's happening less now. And I don't know why. I think in some ways, maybe the tides are like turning a little bit, because I do feel a lot more love from the city than I ever have. Like, I've been through really strange things in media in Toronto. Like, I don't know if you remember the insane sexist Grey Gardens review that Toronto Life published.
No.
I remember
you gotta
seeing
read
this.
this shit.
I don't know if I haven't read it recently.
It was nuts. Like, it was just like all positives attributed to my male business partner and all negatives attributed to me.
Wow.
And it's honestly like, it's worth reading just as like a study in like clickbait. Like, and I did push back against it. And I think that I actually turned it around and made it mine. It took back the night. And I don't know that, and it's my agent says this to me all the time. She's like, you do all these things that like I don't have a PR person. And she's like, no PR person would ever let you or recommend that you do the things that you do. And then you end up having better PR than anyone could ever pay for.
Yeah.
And I think that's fascinating. But that's like, so, I mean, but I felt recently, and I don't know if it's post-pandemic or like I don't know what it is, or like Me Too maybe had a tiny little, even though Amber Heard, like even had like a tiny little like lasting impact, which I doubt. But something's changed, and I feel the shift, and I feel that people are being like more obviously kind to me in ways that I've not felt before. And like they'll come up and they'll tell me, like, I get nicer messages. I get these, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
No, I
love it.
I've kind of noticed it too. I kind of see it too a little bit.
Like about women or about me?
About you. About you.
I mean, let's keep the focus on me.
There was definitely like a media villain arc against you.
Yes, dude, it was nuts for a long time.
Jen Egg's doing this now, and I was kind of like,
it was started.
Released a book. Like, what?
People, I mean, I get that I'm easy to hate because I tell sort of the truth most of the time.
Yeah.
But I do think a lot of it, and this is like really strange. I think a lot of it was like rumors started by like men that I had worked with in the past.
Yeah.
No names.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Oink. And like more than one, like many men. And the rumors, the water of the rumors was carried by women.
Yeah.
And that's why they stuck.
Right.
Which is very depressing.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Interesting.
disappointing.
Interesting.
But I really felt it. I really felt it. And it's a really hard thing to talk about because, you know, you don't want to, but it's like the reason we need feminism is because women are making sure that we don't get it.
Right.
I can't speak on that.
And I mean, out on a high note, like, did we do it? How much is there more? No, we got more. Okay.
We got
Like,
more.
do we have it?
We definitely have it.
We definitely have it, but I mean, we can
definitely
just
have it,
keep
but I don't
going.
have
But you're gonna need to. Do you have a tequila tonic for me? What do you got? You got to
I
go.
only
Like,
have Coors Light.
you only have Coors Light. I'll drink a Coors Light
All
with,
right, all
with
right.
you young men. That
drink a
sounds fun.
Coors- I'll drink a
Okay.
Coors Light, too.
Yeah, why not? You'll have one.
We need more
for
booze.
the team. You'll take one for the.
I'll
team.
take one for.
Painting your restaurant beer.
Here's something that I
You got
always.
the Jen Egg endorsement, of course. Like,
But here's the thing that I actually,
Is this the mountain scan when it's cold?
of course,
Okay.
it's called Cold Certified.
Oh, so they still do that. Okay.
But I always remember, and I feel like you maybe said this somewhere, or I just noticed it, or we talked about it.
Okay.
But I feel like at most of your bars, bars and restaurants,
We have.
I can get like a regular beer.
We always. So the reason that we have this,
Yeah.
is partly the history of the Hoof, where it was like a cook's restaurant. We sort of built for cooks in a lot of ways and restaurant people because it was open late. It was open on Sunday, Mondays.
Yeah.
Closed Tuesday, Wednesday, which like a lot of people have adopted. It's like, and I love it because, you would like, there was like times when I'd like look up on a Sunday night and it'd be so busy. And just like, this is kind of amazing that like they're like you've built a place, and they come, whatever the baseball thing, Kevin Costner movie, you know what I'm saying? Like you built it and they will come, and so like, and you offer people like a Sunday night time to like eat good food and drink beer, but we always wanted to have an affordable like restaurant person beer on the menu, and at the Hoof it was $50, so for a long time. It was $4.25, and then it went up to $4.50.
Yeah.
I don't think it ever got more expensive than $4.75 in all the years that the Hoof was open, and we closed the Hoof in 2018.
Yeah.
And then at Grey Gardens, we had like long debates, and we ended up putting Coors
have
Light.
High Life,
It was,
right? Didn't you have High Life
it was either High Life or Coors Light.
It was High Life because I remember.
Oh, it was High Life. It was Coors Light when we opened, but then it was
Okay.
High Life. And like also Miller Lite is another great shitty
Yeah.
beer.
Yeah.
And maybe one of my favorites.
that's my favorite.
Well, because the thing
Miller
is,
Lite
I
is so good.
love good wine and I hate bad wine, but I love bad beer and I hate good beer.
Good beer's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
disgusting.
It's
It's
disgusting.
what is wrong with these fucking people?
It's literally
The craft beer
disgusting.
industry
It's
has gone too
so
far.
I can't.
Gross.
This is
It's
why.
just gone
like,
too
I
far.
didn't, like to be.
Everyone
honest,
knows this
I
is
didn't just
just-
buy these because you were coming. I bought these because this is what I would drink. But I also know that you like beers like this. I was like, it's win-win. We have the same taste in beer at least.
Because this is, I mean, it tastes like nothing.
Exactly.
Love it. Love
as a
it.
good beer should.
Yeah, but every restaurant. So even at Cocktail Bar, even at, maybe not at Rum especially, but at Vendetta.
You still have
and
the King. You have the.
we have like, yeah,
the
we have
King
like a
Pilsner?
basic Caribbean beer.
Yeah,
And at Swan, we it's always, we just want to have a cheap, accessible beer. Accessible is even the wrong word. A cheap, delicious beer.
But
Like-
accessible is actually kind of the word because there have been times when I, again, met you. I would say
My pinky
more
is
than
lifted though. Well, I'm not even doing that. I don't know what's
more,
happening here.
but
I
more than
always
10 years ago when I met you, and like I was a broke musician. But like,
I mean, I
and-
love your music so much. Can I tell you? Like, I got
Thank you.
sorry, just to interrupt you for 1 second to give you a compliment, which I think is a good reason to interrupt someone,
Okay, go
and
for
not my usual reason, which is just to talk over you and tell you my opinion.
suck.
But I actually put one of your songs on a new play on an old song of yours. What's it called? Oh my god, I love it so much, and it's gonna come to me, the name of it, but I cannot remember the name, and I never remember the name, so I have to go through all the songs. I'm like, oh, it's that one.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was just like, I mean, it's just like you're so talented.
Thank you.
It's so nice.
Thank
He is the goat.
It's really true. It's really
But
true.
what I was gonna say, is I remember when I was younger, and a broke musician, like trying to but wanting to go and hang out and do things, like I lived down the street. I lived on Bellwoods, so like me and Talvi would sometimes go and be like, let's go have some nice food at like Black Hoof or something, and go.
I remember.
But but it's the kind of thing where you can go get dinner, but you got to be careful about the drinks. And the fact that we could
you
go,
could get 50s.
we could just get beers, but also just eat the menu
yeah.
and not.
And it was like
completely
under 100. You could
destroy
leave
our
under 100
wallets.
bucks. You could honestly get out of the Hoof for under $100.
Yeah.
Like that's a real Bib Gourmand restaurant, and not
Yeah.
like fucking Grey Gardens. That's insane.
But
But
I also went to Grey Gardens and also just had some High Life once.
Amazing.
It was great.
It starts with an SH, the song title. It's like a
Shells.
Yeah, I fucking love Shells. I love Shells. I was so embarrassed that I couldn't remember the name of the song. I said I love it. Like, oh, well, if you love the song, name it.
Yeah, if you love this.
And I was like, well, I can't remember it because I have early onset.
You weren't listening to anything he was just saying. You were just thinking about what song.
You're just thinking about this is the title.
Okay, as a woman, I can multitask.
That's impressive. I can't.
Well, you're a man.
Yeah, I know.
So, and like most men are actually kind of bad at multitasking, not to generalize.
No,
Some men can do it.
That's a good.
But like
awful at
one of my
especially
dear,
when it comes to thinking and speaking. Like, and
I can do.
listening
I honestly
and
can do both
listening.
at the same time, and I do think it's somewhat of an acquired like fear-based skill that we all learn as women. Where like I have to understand exactly what's happening. I'm just doing this for the liberals. I have to understand exactly what's happening around me at all times because I might get raped at any moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Which not to like that could happen. Like that's not a me
Yeah.
mocking.
No.
Like that could happen.
Yeah.
And so like you're constantly on watch as a woman, I think in that sense, like in a way that's like men just simply don't have to deal with, and white men don't have to deal with in exactly the same way. Passing white men also maybe. Like I'm just saying.
Yeah, I love this. So good.
I'm just saying that's a thing. We have to cover all our bases.
Yes,
at
of
all
course.
times. And so
Give
so
me
I
all the
think
heat.
because of that, I actually think because of the like the fear of being rape murdered, that you just like you tune into these skills where you can actually literally listen to what someone's saying, think about your own thoughts, prep your own thoughts, and
Right.
like you're just a better conversationalist as a woman.
Yeah, no, totally.
That makes sense.
Totally. No, because you're right about the multitasking because I'm like literally awful at it. Like Lauren, my girlfriend, always makes fun of me when it's like I'm like doing something and I'm with her. I'm like blah, 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 and someone's like texting and someone's like just.
You can't text and talk at the same time.
No, fine. We'll go with email. But something
I
that's a
can't
little
talk.
more.
I
Something that's a little more concrete. And I'll be like, I'll deal with that later. And she's
Right.
like, why don't you just respond right now? And I'm like,
Yeah, we'll do
No,
both. We'll do both.
I can't. Do
I
it.
can't do that at all.
can't do it.
I think it might be because you're men.
I think that's.
I'm
I think
sure.
that's. I think
I'll
it's a
take
fair
it.
generalization. I
Yeah,
think
it's
that's
not
very
100% true across the board. I know some men
Yeah.
who are better at it. Like I know some men who are terrible. Again, David comes to mind. Like my friend David, he like cannot do both to the
Yeah.
point where I'm just like constantly making fun of him for it. Where I'm
Yeah.
just like, you just like it's actually
you just can't do this.
like what?
Yeah.
It's not complicated. And I don't know if it's a learned skill, but maybe if you walk around at night and get sexually assaulted a few times, you will develop that skill.
Makes sense.
That makes sense.
LOL, sexual assault.
It exists.
sense.
Wow, I'm gonna get canceled. You guys
No,
are. This is,
you're
I'm gonna get canceled.
You're
That's
not
what's
going to.
happening.
The essence of everything you're saying is
I need
not
to try this as well.
controversial.
Oh my god, you got to get in there. The ham and cheese is amazing.
I know.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fire. I've been loving it being on my side.
they're all on your side.
I didn't want to tell you guys.
You know what I'm saying?
How do you feel about the Michelin guide coming through?
Full circle. You really are good.
Okay, I gotta chew my
Bringing it
ham.
back.
I gotta chew my ham and chew my thoughts.
Because I know you have some opinions on this.
Okay, well, first of all, like many guides, I think it's stupid and bullshit, and I don't think that because of my lack of. Like, because they won't allow me in the club, I'm like, you're stupid. Like, it's not that. I genuinely think it's not good.
Yeah.
It's
Has it ever been good?
It's no, not like it's class based. It's a tire company. The people judging it are like,
It is a tire.
like it's a tire
It
company.
literally is.
Like they
That's my
they
favorite
started
part.
it to sell cars. Like that's a fact. Everyone knows that. I know it's like kind of not worth repeating, but it's like that's what it is.
That's very true.
Drive farther to this cool restaurant. Oh, your tires got worn down.
Go eat here.
We have the answer for you. It's more tires. So yeah, I mean, there's like part of it that's that, which is just funny. There's part of it like the part of it like how much like a certain kind of chef worships it, which is also
Right.
funny.
Right.
I mean, they really do. Like they really do. Like even
Yeah.
the people that you would think are like cool
Above it or think they're not above it, but yeah.
they
just,
really do. Like it's
Yeah.
everything. I also found myself wanting it, you know,
Yeah,
in a way
it's
that's
like-
like where you're just like where I'm just like, oh, I can finally. Okay, you guys can all
it's
fuck
like
off because.
as stupid as it's
but
gonna
then I
sound,
wrote an
it's the
essay.
pitchfork of food.
Yes, exactly.
Right,
Kind of.
yeah,
Like I wrote
totally.
an essay about like how much it sucks, and then I was
Yeah.
like, oh, they didn't give me a star.
Yeah, I wonder
But I
why.
wrote this article about
Weird. But they did. What they did do was give Grey Gardens a bib gourmand,
Yes,
which
they
is like
did.
kind of like a. I felt like a really funny like fuck you.
Okay, interesting.
Like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
the
But
inner workings of
I
this, so
also could
saw
just be
that.
extremely vain and be like, everything's about me. But so in I'm about to get in trouble.
Let's go.
So in some ways, Like, yeah, it's good. It opens doors. I've talked to other people who were on the same list that are like so happy and grateful for it, even though they understand exactly what I'm saying. They would just never say it publicly.
Right.
Get out of Grey Gardens for less than $60. Even if you're drinking Coors Light, good fucking luck.
Right.
It does not meet the criteria. The criteria for the Bib Gourmand is
like,
that
what are you
it's
gonna-
60,
yeah.
and like you can't do it. It can't be done.
Right.
It can't be done.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I guess I understand why they were like, we're not giving that bitch a Michelin star.
We'll give her the.
But we
the
have to
honorable
acknowledge
mentions.
her role in this
Yes.
city.
Yeah.
It would be rude not
You're right.
to.
I never
We
thought
want
about it.
plausible deniability
Yeah.
because they all want
Right.
plausible fucking deniability.
Did you know when they came in?
No.
'Cause I know-
But
I know
people
the
do
whole- I know
know.
the whole
I've
thing
been
is
told
like-
that people know. No, not me. But I don't want to know,
Yeah.
frankly. Like, that's not the circle I want to be in. So, no, I didn't know. But I also, like, the stuff they said on the website is very nice and accurate. And, like, I wish it acknowledged the actual people making that restaurant function the way that it does.
Right.
Like, I built it and I put the things in place. But, like, that restaurant is run by like Jake, Aurora, AJ, and Meg. And those are the people running that restaurant.
Right,
and like
right.
they do an amazing job. And it's truly one of the best restaurants in the city.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of almost borderline at an accessible price point. I understand restaurants are expensive and it's not like actually accessible. Please do you see what I'm doing? I'm heading off
Yeah,
the
yeah.
like. So I get that it's expensive, but it's also like not crazy expensive. It's not
Yeah.
gougy expensive. It's not
Yeah.
like honestly, like there are some restaurants
Yeah.
recently opened that you're just like, are you serious, sir?
Let's name. I'll beep
I
it.
don't
I'll
think
beep it
that-
out if you want me to beep it out.
I'm not going to say.
Okay.
But like I like it's
Yeah.
like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
This is how much
Right.
you're charging people? Like, it's just rude.
Yeah.
It's just rude.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong. And maybe that's where I lose because I don't want to gouge people that much.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I'm just like, oh, you can though? And I didn't? Well, it's
But
dumb.
again, this goes back to what we talked about with, in a sense, curating your clientele. Because
Yeah.
if you do that, then you're actually going to attract a clientele that maybe you don't necessarily want.
Okay, so that's where I was going with the Michelin talk.
Mm-hmm.
So we have had more overtly ridiculous negative Google reviews
Since
since this happened
Okay.
from fucking losers. like you're just like, what? You came for drinks and stuff? Like, what? Get out of here! Like, I don't know. Or just like where we did our little like detective investigation on the table, and it's like, oh, this is what happened. This is what
Yeah.
actually happened. And it's like we've never really get negative reviews, and we've been like inundated with like weirdly like. Well, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you thought this was going to cost $60.
Well, actually, the bill was
You've
$250.
You've been misled.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
fucked.
and
This
so it's
kinda
like that.
seems like
It's like I don't
psyop.
want any of this, but what I want for AJ, who I like deeply love,
Yeah.
AJ, if you're listening, you know I care.
We love you.
You know, and like AJ was a slow burn for me. Like it took me a long time to have a good relationship with this person who's like a very chef.
Yeah.
And I know he's gonna listen to this, and he's gonna be like, what did you mean by that? Except he's not gonna ask me. You know, he's gonna ask me in his own way.
Yeah.
But it's like he like cares about this stuff, and I want that for him, like in lots of ways, because it's like I get why any chef would care about that. Like it makes so much sense. Oh, you don't care about the Oscars of your industry, you fucking liar.
yeah.
So like, of course, like, you know, I understand how an Oscar is life-changing
Yeah.
to people, even though they made a beautiful movie that of course deserved all the
Yeah,
praise.
it's like it's the icing on the cake of the thing that within your industry.
Yeah,
Like,
and-
even if you don't care, you.
but lots of bad movies get Oscars.
I know,
Yeah.
but
And
you
that's kind of my
but
point.
At the end of the day, you would still.
But-
want
But
one,
you still
know?
won't.
But then
wouldn't
also
mind
lots
having
of
one.
good movies get Oscars.
Yes.
And what they do is change everything about your career.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's the same for Michelin. They change everything about your career. They make, and even like hiring is just easier now. Oh, randomly? It's randomly easier now that we have some kind of Michelin acknowledgement. Like I can't say that it's randomly easier.
Right.
It just is easier.
Yeah.
If we had a star, it would be even easier.
Yeah.
So those kinds, like those are the kind of like truths around it that like I don't love acknowledging because I know how I feel about the whole thing and how the system is rigged and blah, blah, blah. And how also, like, even when I thought for a second that we were actually going to be judged by real outside forces who didn't have preconceived ideas about me, the people promoting it and, like, behind it have preconceived ideas about me.
Really?
Well, like, the people that make it happen, that get the people that do the judgment here, of course.
Yeah,
and they never talk.
Yeah.
They never have conversations about who should have it. Like, I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way that, no.
So it's just like, I don't like ever existing in a world where, like, those kind of conspiracies around me exist. But I also think it's really stupid and naive to not understand that they do a little bit. And I've also had it proven, like, oh my God, I sound like a crazy person.
No,
but like I actually
I know what you.
I had a journalist recently tell me something that kind of blew my mind. And like I've had people tell me that kind of stuff over and over again in my career where they're like, "Oh yeah, everyone used to shit talk you in my restaurant kitchen." And I'm like, "Oh, do they know me?" And they'd be like, "Well, no." I'm like, "Oh, cool. And you defended me." "Well, no." I'm like, "Oh, why are you telling me this? Just to make me feel bad? Thank you so much." But I had somebody who was a journalist recently tell me that they were trying to like get a story written about one of my restaurants, and there was like a weird reaction or like a facial expression, and like he told me about it, and I was kind of like, cool. I'm like, it's like in some ways it's a relief to know that like when you're pitching something that's got my name attached to it, somebody's physically reacting.
Yeah.
Right.
And but you're just like, why? Like, I don't get it. And it's just like, and the explanation given was, I think a lot of people are scared because how hard you pushed back against the Grey Gardens review. I'm like, the sexist Grey Gardens review that I had every fucking right to push back on? Oh, that's what they're scared of? They're scared and then he's like, yeah, well, maybe they're scared if they get something wrong, you'll be upset. I'm like, well, then don't get some serious shit wrong.
Yeah,
like talk to me about it. Like be a journalist. Be a fucking journalist. Like I was actually enraged by that. Not at my friend for telling me, but like I was so enraged. I was just like, oh, okay. It's just like this moment where you're like, I'm not imagining it, but also my career has been ruined by me being me.
Yeah.
Does that seem right?
Yeah.
Not ruin. I mean, oh my God, that sounds so insane. I know I have a great career, but like, think about what kind of career I would have if I hadn't had to fight these fucking demons. And I don't want to be on television I don't want to be on Top Chef Canada. Yeah. And you know what I mean?
Dude,
like,
I want to see that.
Like the people would enjoy it. And I've of course, they've asked me, and I was like, no.
I gotta stop you. I gotta stop you there. If you were a
sick.
judge on Top Chef Canada, that would be so sick.
I mean, it would be.
Unfortunately, you would be you'd be typecast.
I'd be the Simon.
As the Simon Cowell.
I'd be the Simon Cowell.
Yeah,
and it's just like, well, I don't want to do any of that. Also, that
yeah.
bores me and it's stupid and annoying, and I want no part of that world.
Yeah.
But like, and then I actually did watch, I've never seen it before, and I watched this season of it because everyone at Grey Gardens was watching it, and I was just like, okay, let me watch it. And I mean,
no good.
I get why people like it. I will say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not for me, I will say also.
But have you seen what's it called? Drink Masters on Netflix?
I can't.
The cocktail show?
Do it.
You was trying to get me to watch. I should watch it. But.
Me and Lauren watched it. What's that?
I can't do it, okay? I'm not interested.
Yeah. I love shitty TV though, like that. Like, of course I want to see like.
I don't hate shitty TV. Don't get me wrong. I will enjoy some shit, like, you know, like when On the Spectrum people are dating. I want to see all of that.
Oh, I hated that show.
Oh my God, really? I thought it was amazing.
Everybody loves it. Yeah, he loves it. I know. Gen X and Gen Z.
Sorry, what did you hate about that perfect show that tugged at your? It was so disgusting. I loved it.
Yeah, I just didn't like it. I thought it was just
like, I remember all the people I hated. I forget their names, but I remember their faces.
My divine boy.
Oh, I mean, that was just. I mean. Perfection, disgusting perfection.
No, I'm just being
my divine boy. But yeah, like, or that like pod show with that, you know, Nick, what's his name? Nick
Lachey.
That marriage. What's up with that marriage? Like, what is their deal?
That show's dark.
It's so dark. Like, they don't love each other.
That and Love Is Blind. That's when you get into like. Did you watch Love Is Blind?
Isn't that what I'm talking about right now? The pod show. Oh,
wasn't
Love Is Blind. Okay,
Circle?
No, Nick Lachey's show was something
know.
else, I think.
I don't know.
I thought it was Love Is Blind.
Maybe it was the first. It might have been the first season of Love Is Blind.
I actually don't know.
Yeah, I don't
and
know
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. The point is, pretty good TV.
It's I don't know. But I never I don't watch Real Housewives, for example, and I know a lot of my contemporaries and women I respect do, and I'm just like, I can't. This is actually gross, and I don't respect it.
It's like absolutely not.
Like I'll watch Love Is Blind,
Yeah.
and that's respectable. Like everything I do is good, and everything everyone else does is bad.
Okay, I had a couple more things I want to
No, there is a difference. There is a
Of
difference.
course,
There is a
people are very
difference.
dumb.
There is a difference.
I love that I've like barely hit this fucking.
Oh my god!
list
Okay,
of
first of all,
topics.
I think you have to as a courtesy to me, read
Yeah.
out your question list.
No, I don't.
no, you
They're not questions. They're not questions. I've only,
Okay,
there's
topics,
There's
topics.
actually only one question.
Topics.
They're mostly prompts.
Prompts,
But the
okay.
one question, which I will just ask, I
Okay.
was asked the question.
It's
right
of the
now,
group.
Was do you
Austin,
think that
you
people
count.
feel entitled to respond to everything you have to say?
Actually, yes, I do.
Because I feel like
Oh god, I get the craziest DMs. Yes, I do
even
feel
when you're
like
just
that.
even when you're just like, this is a good way to store guacamole, and you're like, well,
Oh my God,
you're like
you
after 100 responses, some people said it wasn't. And it was like,
Okay.
like I saw that and I was like, cool.
It
noted.
was so insane. Okay, so actually, it is a good way to store guacamole. And for the listeners of Cold Pod who are not following me on Instagram, first of all, rude.
You should.
And second of all, if you take a schmear of sour cream, that's maybe past its prime. It doesn't have to be, but it can be. And you just pop it over the top. So first of all, you make your guacamole and you make it the right way. Like you make it with chilies and I like to soak. If my onions are really aggressive, I like to soak them first because I think it's a little cold water soak first. I think it makes a nicer guacamole with a less aggressive onion. That's a personal preference thing. I don't put garlic in mine. This is gross.
Yeah.
I love garlic, but not in guacamole. And chilies and cilantro and salt and lime. That really is. Those are your ingredients for your guacamole. As a Mexican abuela, I'm telling you, that's how to make it. These are what the Mexican abuelas, this is the classical method of making it.
No
and
tomatoes.
Then, you crush up your avocados, and then you let it sit for a few minutes and you eat. It's delicious. So I made some, and I made too much. And so I had some left over, and I put it into a quarter deli cup, and I had some sour cream, and I just was like, hey, what if? So I smeared it over top, and I've literally never seen it. Maybe people have done this before, because there's a lot of olive oil. You can throw some olive oil on top, and it creates a barrier to oxygen.
Or lime juice too, supposedly.
It doesn't. No. You have to create an actual oil barrier.
Right.
Lime juice will slow the browning, but it won't stop it. Okay. And neither will olive oil. But sour cream does. I think it's because it's it's thicker and you just get it everywhere. And then you just mix your sour cream into your guacamole and you have a sour guac a la Sneaky D's, a la not super
something
authentic.
I want to go to after, but,
we got to talk about Sneaky D's.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I tried to hedge all the bets, as I often do, where I'm like, what are people going to say?
Yeah.
Okay, let me try and craft my statement to prevent the people saying the things they're going to say. And then I had people being like, actually, I know Mexican abuelas who make their guacamole with sour cream. Okay. And I'm like, okay.
Well, this is,
and it's what do you care? Are you serious right now? And I got a bunch of responses like that. And I was like, wonderful, great choice on their part.
I saw that post in my mind as the most, here's the thing I did. And it worked. And I was like, nice, next. And then
maybe you'll think about it next time you make
4 hours
guacamole.
later, you had this thing being well, after hundreds of responses, and I was like, that was the one moment I was like, what is wrong with people? You don't have to respond to everything.
I know, well,
or have your take be
when you're I made this thing, well, that thing killed my dad. Did you think of that? Did you think of that thing killing my dad?
Or you smoke cigarettes? You shouldn't do that. Yeah,
it's dude, people, I don't know, it's impossible. So I sort of feel this strange sense of responsibility to acknowledge it because I do think it's crazy. So when I put those posts up, they are for the people that responded. Hey, you know what did you have to?
Yeah.
You didn't have to.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
But then also cute lamp. Cute floor lamp. I have good taste in lighting. Also that one's really lovely too. Where's that from?
IKEA, baby.
That's a good knockoff. That's a good knockoff. We're going to talk about your light bulb choices later. This is a nice one. Yeah, this is a nice one.
You mean
But
the color?
this one-
This is a harsh, cold light that I don't care for.
On. In fact,
Right.
it's never on.
Well,
It's
if you-
only on for this.
You could
to
put
shoot.
it on all the time if you had a good light bulb in there.
Who needs that much light? I'll turn that one on.
What's this one look like? What do the bulbs like in
That's a
there?
little too pretty.
That
Is
was
it the
a
same?
lot.
Okay, I'm like, this is a perfect bulb. What do you got?
This
here?
bulb's
You got
good.
Incandescent? Like, what do you?
I actually
IKEA lights. They don't have that many options.
I know that light. I know that light bulb.
IKEA doesn't have a lot of options in their light bulbs, right? Do they?
That's not
You don't
IKEA.
buy light bulbs at IKEA.
You have to.
No, dude. Do you
IKEA
understand how
lights.
Okay.
IKEA
no.
lights have their own light bulbs.
No, they don't. Oh
Do
my
they?
god, are you?
Wait, what?
What are you? They're just light sockets. Are you?
Do they not have
No,
their
no,
own?
no, no.
No.
I'm sure they have their own brand.
Yeah, they
of
probably
light
have their own
bulbs.
shitty IKEA brand that looks
Have
like
I been
that.
fucking like.
Oh my god. Okay, what you want? First of all, we need. Oh my god.
Are
we just
you
like.
sure?
We just. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm just.
Shined like 10 restaurants.
Like, I'm
Pick
sure.
The bulbs and the
Like I no, I can't. Like I bet IKEA would love to like have exclusivity.
That's what I thought.
No, they just have shitty bulbs that are like halogen and fluorescent. But like
Why did I think?
I don't know, because I'm very young. So you know how to fold laundry,
Oh yeah,
right?
I do.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
I'm not.
Yeah. No, like,
I
but do
think
you?
I'm pretty good at
Pretty
it. I
okay.
think.
Okay, so incandescent is our best light. It's the light that's ruining the planet, but we love our incandescent light.
Yes.
But LEDs have gotten a lot better. That's LED. LEDs have gotten a lot better and a lot warmer. So I'm okay with certain LEDs. So it's incandescent, it's LED. It's not halogen. It's not fluorescent. We don't
Like,
want that.
but just to
Okay.
be clear, that
Yeah.
light is
Never on.
purely for show.
Guess what? It's on right now.
Yeah, because we're filming you.
Right. Right there?
Yeah.
That's a camera?
Yes.
You've got all my facial expressions?
Yes, we've been over this already. We only turn on the
Hello.
Wait for the scissors.
Hello.
turn on the brink. Yeah, no, it's
That's
if
fair.
it is so.
Oh, damn.
But if it is, we might have to put this on Patreon as a video pod if you're cool with that.
I feel like my facial expressions are quite hilarious.
I think they're good.
Generally,
You're
and very
animated.
expressive.
You're very
I'm
animated
a
person.
real hand talker.
It adds to it.
So am I.
Right.
People are always like, you talk with your hand, like those Josh, like,
How else would you talk?
Yeah.
Like
How
this?
else-
Are you gonna be like,
feel like,
hey, man,
yeah, I
I'm
really like
excited news to
songs.
tell you
This is
about
cool.
stuff.
No, it's like you gotta fucking.
Are
This is
you
good.
emphatic or are you not emphatic?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you not care?
That's why I like
Yeah.
this because it kind of keeps my
Yeah, you gotta keep it.
Keeps your wings in. Keeps your wings
keeps me
in.
down.
But Sneaky D's going on. So now moving from
Sneaky
guac to
D's.
Sneaky D's. Because this is something that, okay, there's actually something that I actually want to ask you about involving Sneaky D's.
Okay.
Why the Veggie King's crown?
Oh, well, first of all, it's not the veggie king's crown. The king's crown is the king's crown. It's a sloppy mess. It's
Yes.
not good. And the veggie nachos are perfection.
Oh, okay, sorry. So, yes, so why the veg. Oh,
Because it's good, not good? I feel like that's
I've never
the theme.
had the veggie nachos.
Well, that's a big mistake.
I assumed that it was just a, I don't know.
I think you
impossible
assumed
to
incorrectly. So,
Not
okay.
impossible.
So I don't want to disparage Sneaky D's ever, but I don't think the King's Crown are actually the best nachos that they have on offer. And it's the ones everyone kind of knows about because
Yes.
they've got the meat and like it's a crown. It's a,
Yeah.
but the veggie nachos are how nachos should be. Spread out, cheese on almost every chip.
Hell yeah.
Top. So my order, and it has been this for, I'm 47. I was 15 when I first started going to Sneaky D's.
Okay.
Which is deeply fucked up. 25, 35, 40. That's 22 years.
But.
No, 32.
An
Wait,
amazing
15,
establishment
20, 25, 35, 40.
That's
32
30
years.
That's 30
32
That's
years.
30
I told you my math is not my strong suit.
You're always
So-
only a year off though, or that I guess not that.
I was a decade off. I was a decade
You're
off.
always
I was a little bit off. So 32 years ago, I started going to Sneaky D's at the college and Bathurst location, which is not their original location. You might not even know this.
Yeah, what's
their
the
original
original?
location is Bloor in Bathurst on the
I did know that.
northwest side.
I was
and
on- I
then
never
they
went,
got moved
but-
out, and then I think they might own the building at college in Bathurst, which, I mean, we know that.
Is it not getting torn
well,
down?
maybe they do. I actually don't know. I don't know what's happening. I don't know whether they finally were like, okay, well, we'll accept your very generous offer,
Of
Brad Lamb.
millions. Yeah. Brad J. Lamb.
Well, I guess we'll go. So yeah, like there is an imminent death threat here,
Yes.
which I don't love because I'm like, what's next? Lee's Palace. It's very
Yeah,
upsetting. I mean, I'm not a nostalgiaist, but I am a nostalgia.
I am.
Without
I
nostalgia,
am.
but I am. I absolutely am. Of course.
I will not deny that.
So let's
Whether it's
circle
good or
back
not.
to veggie nachos and why they're better. So first of all, King's Crown is too wet.
Yes.
You don't need meat on nachos. You need meat on lots of things. You don't need meat on nachos. The toppings on the veggie nachos are like honestly perfection. They have this like onion, tomato sort of. It's not salsa. It's just like it's like kind of like the Prego. It's like just like a sauce. It's a Sneaky D's red sauce, and then there's like peppers in it, and then they have their like 3 cheese blend. Inexpensive cheeses, lots of pull, and I always get jalapenos on the side because reasons. Like I love them deeply. But I've actually I found a fix, so I don't maybe need to get them on the side anymore. But I do like having control of how many I get per bite. So like so I don't put the sour cream on top. So you get them and you put the lettuce, you spread. So you have to reheat them if you've ordered them at home. You have to reheat them a little bit, and it's like if you find the like magic number, which for me is 350 for like 6 minutes.
Okay.
And depending on your Uber situation, like the person that drove it to your house. Or biked it to your house, or fucking walked it to your house. It's like, get the fuck out of here! No more walking my. Like I know,
so
like I'm like I
true.
get that it, but no, you can't. It's like and Sneaky D's for whatever reason is the absolute like distance cutoff
Okay, so
for me.
this is me with like Korean
walk.
food and like Koreatown,
Hate it.
where like I'll like
You
I'll,
ordered
like,
the chicken. You want a crispy?
I'll order something from Koreatown and like it'll be like Uber Walker to start. And I'm like
Get out of here.
fuck.
And you can't
Yeah.
even and to me I thought that this was going to be a thing where they were going to try to like guide you into some sort of like class system of Uber, which I would have been like okay, I'll pay $3 more for a
to get a
driver.
driver.
And I
Yeah.
absolutely
No,
would,
it's
but they
you don't
haven't
get a
even
choice.
done that,
I
which
know.
honestly feels like a missed opportunity.
That's not. Oh shit.
Like it actually does feel like I'm like if you
I
because
thought-
they've already got like standard versus but if you choose like the faster one, they don't not give you a walker.
Yeah, it's like
it's
still
like
the
not
same.
a way to
'Cause
avoid
they've
a walker.
allotted their amount of time as to how long it takes to get from point A to point
Like
B.
just get a bike, dude. Like steal one. Everyone here does it.
I
what
don't
are
know
those
how you
scooters?
can be an Uber without a car or a bike.
Because
It doesn't
Uber's
make any
bad.
sense.
They're
Uber-
bad people.
Uber-
Like I can just
Billionaire's
go.
bad.
Like, I shouldn't just be able to go and deliver Uber. Like, you know what I mean?
Or get they were like you could pick it up yourself, but you won't. Okay, so it's flat. We're talking flat, which is better. Flat is always better. You've reheated it. You've pulled it out. You're putting your lettuce. You're spreading your lettuce. Some people think lettuce is a controversial nacho
It is
topping.
controversial, but
I
I'm
think it's
into it.
crispy and light and delicious.
Me neither.
Tex-Mex.
And then
I
you-
agree.
It's not Max.
Yeah, it's Tex-Mex. And then you pop your little sour cream in that corner of your tray. And then you pop your jalapenos that you've ordered on the side if you have an asshole like mine in that corner. And then you take your, which is like sad about jalapenos coming out of it. But I found a fix. So you take your chip and you dip in the sour cream and then you dip a little into the jalapenos and you're in heaven.
sticks.
It's perfect. So if I have a little Eno, which is an old man like effervescent antacid situation, if I have my nachos and then an hour later I have a little Eno, it's no problem. It
And
does
hours.
not burn.
Right.
Like a ring of fire.
Okay.
Which is so hot tip for when you get older.
Yeah,
I know. I mean,
That's great. No, I already have that now.
Cold tip. Actually,
also
cold
only
tip.
Cold tip.
Cold ass tip.
Cold tip. Fuck, okay, because I have never done it, and I now that I think about it,
You've never done Eno, the hot ass, the flat nachos.
No,
What are
I've never ordered the veggie nachos.
you
from
gotta,
CPD.
dude? Like you,
Because I myself have been eating there for I don't know at least almost 15 years.
right? What's your
So it's-
order? What's your order?
My order was always we used to go on whatever the fajita night was.
Fucking amateurs.
What do you mean
like a little.
amateurs?
It's like this thing comes through the restaurant. It's all like.
Yeah,
It's
I
making
know,
all this
but-
noise. It's
but
stinking up your
here's
shirt,
the
and you're like, I'll
thing,
have those.
Jen.
And guess what? You get them.
Jen,
Not that good.
It's yes, you're totally right. But here's
I'm
the thing.
always right about this kind of
All
stuff.
it is entirely nostalgia, though. In my opinion.
Right.
None of it has to do with like eating something that I actually think is good.
Maybe you
It
should
has
try
to
the
do
veggie nachos
with- You're right. You're totally right. I should.
and the chicken wings, medium.
Okay. Well, okay. So moving on from this, then let's talk about.
Let's actually pivot.
No. But this equates. Let's talk about Let's talk about old Toronto.
Oh, let's.
Oh yeah.
Because we
I
haven't-
mean,
we
I
haven't-
loved that part with Eva where you guys were talking about old Ossington, and I was like, but you forgot Foxley, which was the
Foxley is
very
still there.
first restaurant on Ossington,
And it's still there.
and it's still there.
Yeah.
It's still very good.
Okay. I've actually never eaten at Foxley. Now that I think about it.
Interesting. We'll talk about that later.
Well, hey, I'm just being honest.
It's an honest pod.
Would you like me to be like, oh yeah, I've been there? Like,
No, it's an honest pod.
No,
Cold, honest pod.
I've never been.
Cold.
I've never
Cold,
been.
hard, honest truth.
That's what we are.
But because again, being younger,
Right?
remember. So I read your book first of all. I read. Your
Oh,
book.
you did?
I did. I haven't
Oh,
read
that's
it.
so nice. It's people never, my friends never tell me when they read my, literally
I
some
read it
of
this summer.
did you read it yesterday in preparation for
No,
this?
no.
So some of my closest friends, I assume have read it, but we've never talked about
Right.
it. And hi guys, like it's weird that we've never talked about it.
But sometimes it's because I remember reading it.
Like,
this
did you
summer.
hate it? Like, if you don't have
I remember reading
anything
it
nice to
so
say.
much. I loved it so much, and I would be like, I should
Talking to
probably.
my friends, Josh.
I was like, I should probably message Jen and be like, I just want to let her know.
I
really
would
like
have
your book.
loved that.
But I was
no
like,
one
you
ever
get-
does because
you get
cool.
to-
Because it's too cool. Too cool.
Fair enough, but I was
Yeah.
just kind of like, yeah, maybe I'll see her and I'll tell her, but like whatever. But I did.
And now you're telling me live on radio,
I'm telling
which
you
is so
live
nice.
on the
The
air.
best way to tell someone that you like their book, by the way, is live on the podcast that they're making.
No, but so you talking about like, was it Cobalt? Is the first
Yeah,
bar?
that was the first bar.
And that was at Batherson College, right?
It was right across
See,
from Sneaky
Okay, so this is my point.
That's how I know.
When this would have existed, I was too young to go to bars.
Right.
But I knew what it was.
Oh, crazy.
It was the kind of thing where I didn't know what it was or what it
Yeah.
meant or what the vibe was. But I remember it existing because I remember my girlfriend at the time, my high school girlfriend, like just us being like, taking any excuse to leave the East End to go downtown.
Right.
To be downtown and be like, wow,
The best.
this is sick. This is sick. This is sick.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because
What did you guys do at that age? Because I know what I did when I was 15, 16. I went to the Cameron House. I went to the dance cave. Like,
Well,
what did you guys do?
I probably started drinking in the market when I was like 17 because
Okay.
I wouldn't
Late
get-
bloomer.
What 16? Well, no,
I'm kidding, Josh, I'm kidding.
saying as going to a bar.
Yeah.
Going to an actual bar where
It was easier for women.
exactly. It was harder for me, but I would go to.
But I also had great fake IDs for
I
a
would go
long
to
time.
Last Temptation, and that was our like kind of like
That was like young person spot.
yeah, because you could go there and you can get a beer
Yeah.
for no one would say anything.
Yeah.
But again, like that was
Don't ruin it for the kids now.
It's long
I didn't
gone.
grow up in Toronto. So
Wait, Last Temptation is gone?
No. But
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that
That
version
aspect of
of
it?
it is gone.
Maybe-
Like, there's
I
no
mean,
way like
maybe.
children are still drinking.
I don't know. Children are probably still drinking at the dance cave.
But like,
no.
Wait, can you tell me about the dance cave?
I have
For
nothing
you-
to say about the dance cave.
You've never been
He's
there?
never
I've been a while
But like
ago,
when I was a
but
kid, the dance
it's not
cave
really
was
a thing.
where it's at.
Yeah, it's not really. It's like
It was so cool.
we see Dance Cave was
It's
not a
fallen
thing
off.
even when I was.
Yeah.
By the time I turned 19, it was
Where
not.
where am I supposed to go and dance to like the music I want to hear? Because it doesn't
There-
fucking
but
exist.
there
And this used to be a
isn't any-
dancing
it
town. This used to be
Yeah.
a fun, cool dancing town in
Yeah.
the 90s and early 2000s, and it's not anymore, and it saddens me.
no,
Yeah.
it's
Well, it doesn't-
it became events focused for a long time
Because money.
because money.
And
But there's
just,
no
like-
real like place. Like I mean,
Are you
juice, but it's
telling
not
me-
really the music.
That I can't go and dance
to like New Order and shit.
To New Order and the
absolutely not.
Strokes?
I couldn't tell you.
And,
where
like,
I
the
could-
new
you know,
Yeah,
you
Yeah,
wanna-
Yeahs
wanna know-
album?
Want to know where you can
No.
go do that? At your restaurant.
Yeah, no,
I
it's
love
not.
my restaurant.
But that's the place where you can go
Oh,
here,
yeah.
like dance.
Wait,
to
am
indie
I?
rock.
Is that because I'm not in touch?
No, but you know what's
No,
what's actually funny? You're actually
You're in
the-
touch.
the
This is-
cycle-
thi-
the
this
cycle
goes
has-
back
I'm
to your
ready.
Gen X,
I'm ready
Gen
for it.
Z
come
thing.
around that like what
Did,
you're
like-
doing is like literally so perfect for right now.
Yeah.
Interesting
back,
and
it's back,
totally not
it's
by
back.
design.
It's back. No, I'm like I would vouch because I've
Right.
been at your restaurants for years. And
Wow,
heard the same
I
music.
really am genuine. Okay, like I mean I do understand cycles and I do think about this and Bar Vendetta was built into that cycle. I will not deny it. I knew that indie rock was going to have a moment again,
Yeah.
and it feels like that's happening. But like the fact that I can't go and dance to it, can we just do like a dance night? For a 40, you have to be younger than 40 to come to the dance night, but like it's 40 plus music, but you have to be younger than 40. Because
know what, though?
no, I don't want to be
This
around my people.
You're like again the cycles. Like that's my music too.
Right.
This
I
is
mean, it's
all
not my
he-
music. But it's the music I listen to.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't we do?
Yeah,
Let's
that's-
let's do a night somewhere. Like we'll
Oh,
find
yeah.
a place. It'll be so
Can be
easy.
done. Like this is like the
Okay,
music-
I want to play CDs first of all.
See, now you're like now
Okay, I'm not gonna. I know. I'll
I
figure.
don't even know where you could find.
I have
literal
CDs.
CDJ.
But that's
I
also
have
the thing.
CDs.
no, but you would need like.
I have it somewhere.
You need a real CD.
You
The
need a
CD
CD
DJ?
DJ. Not the new
Okay,
CDJ,
we're
you
not
need
gonna do
old
that. We're not
CDJ
gonna do
so
that.
you
It's
can
very
actually
stupid.
put
But like,
CDs.
how do you play music now? How do you?
USBs.
Huh?
USBs.
I don't know. That sounds like a lot.
It's actually. It's actually not. It's
Okay,
actually
but
not.
anyway, I do want to figure this out. I do
Yeah.
think that there's like an audience for this night
Yeah.
that we could all tap into generationally.
Yes.
And that like
Should we get Jen Egg DJ set for New Year's
Dude,
Eve?
yeah.
DJ Press Play. DJ Press Play. That was my
Can you
DJ
imagine
name.
if-
Let's
Crazy.
go.
We're doing well, we can't announce it.
I mean, I have really good taste. But I also like think I would like murder a dance floor for a few songs, and I'd be like Sinead O'Connor, like
Yeah,
Mantica, and I'd be like,
Then it
but
becomes
what?
about-
And I'm like, no, you don't know this song.
it's like dance for a killer, but sick.
I don't know.
sick
Anyway,
song.
I'll bear it. Okay, wait, we were talking about a different
Old
thing.
Toronto. We're talking about Old Toronto.
We're talking about Old
talking about
Toronto.
Old
Yes.
So like within the dance game and stuff, like what? Because sorry, I was saying that when I was thinking about Cobalt, I
Right.
remember in my mind sort of the cutoff being Bathurst
Like for
me.
West End or
For me.
like you wouldn't go farther.
As someone growing up,
that was for a long time. I think that was
it. Like it felt like no man's land going west of Bathurst.
Okay, I think about this all the time as I get off the highway and take Strawn. So when I was a kid, like literally a child, I had some friends who were 2 or 3 years older than me that had a house on Mackenzie, 8 Mackenzie, and I would come and visit them often because I lived with my parents and they did not.
Yeah.
And I would get off the Gardner in my Volkswagen Passat, great little car, and
car.
I would take Strawn up to Dundas. And because I was from Scarborough, I didn't know like any of the shortcuts that I could have taken to like get there faster. And I would take Strawn up to Dundas, Strawn up to Queen.
No, it's probably Bathurst.
I would get off I would get off probably at Lakeshore, turn onto Bathurst. That's what I did, and then take Dundas because I didn't know the Strawn. I didn't know I could.
As a fellow East Ender, I know the route.
So I didn't know that I could like grab Strawn. Eventually, I learned that. And then I would take Dundas all the way across to like Lisgar and then turn, and then it turns into Mackenzie.
Yeah.
And that was so long ago. That was like a very 30-something years ago. It was a very long time ago. And there was no traffic. There was like, you do that, there was traffic in rush hour. But if you avoided rush hour, like anytime after 7:30, you'd be fine. You'd really be fine. And once I discovered that I could take Strawn up to Queen and then go a different way, there was no Liberty Village. It was a complete no man's land. Like it was just warehouses. I remember when Industry. Do you remember that? Do you remember Industry?
I mean, it's before my time, but
you know about it, right? It's like an iconic dance club that it was. I actually didn't go there because it wasn't my kind of shit.
Was it Adelaide or
no? It was Queen and King and Strawn. Okay. It was King and Strawn, or very close to there.
Yeah.
And there was just nothing.
Nightclub.
There was literally nothing around there, and to see it. I understand this is how gentrification works and this is how like cities and neighborhoods work, but to see like it's change, it's like honestly shocking how fast it happened. Ossington, a very good example of that.
See,
like,
that's the one that I can relate to because
But Dundas too, like Dundas. When we opened the Hoof. So that my husband had a design shop there called Cocktail Molotov, and then it became a bar called Cocktail Molotov, which I don't know if you ever went to that.
I went there when I was
very
underage.
Cool. Yeah, that was like a really cool
Jamal's
little bar.
brother was a bartender there.
Sounds right.
I remember going there once when I was probably like, I don't know, 16 or something, and being like, I'm not supposed to be here, and like someone was like,
it's fine.
And I was like, wow, beer, like this is, I'm in a bar.
And then all the Toronto bands, like all like Broken Social Scene, like when I first met Roland, we were like literally making on that bar, and like bands were like it was just really, I don't know. So I'm really connected to that space, and that's probably why.
I'm sorry, is that where Rum is?
No, that's where Vendetta is. It's where the Hoof.
Okay,
it's where the Hoof was. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it's just like watching it happen. Like there used to be like literally hookers and drug dealers like on the corner of Grace and Dundas.
Yeah.
When it was much cooler than it is now, and I could get my drugs and have sex with a prostitute like in a lot more easy a way. It was just right there at my doorstep. And like Trinity Bellwoods Park, you could like walk through it in the daytime, but you wouldn't dare go near it at night. It was like legit scary. And then to see Trinity Bellwoods turn into this like amusement park was actually kind of was hard for me.
It's fucked.
Like I was just like, I love that like people are out enjoying this space, but also this is really deeply fucked up. And also there's other parks and like why this park? And
I still don't understand
how
why
it just happened. It exploded like
Bellwoods.
6 years ago, 7 years ago. I don't know. It feels like around.
Because by the time I got here, that was
already the thing. Right?
Like I remember when I was in high school, we would go there and like chill and like skate in the fucking like kiddie or the wading pool, whatever.
Or that too. Yeah, I was thinking there like ice hockey.
This is before people even like started skating. Like this is when it was just like whack. Like whatever. The point is, I was in high school and that was like a thing. But even so, it was very much a daytime thing.
Yeah,
in a day because where the community center was, there used to be this little like kind of like, I don't know, rectangular inlet in that building.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That we used to pee in because we like have beers after skating.
I know exactly.
And you'd go to the little inlet to pee, and it would just be condoms and needles on the ground.
Yeah, no, it was like that for a long time. It was like, and also like I don't hate that about public living. Like that's not public living. That's not like city living. Like living in a community with people. Like that's I kind of like. Oh, that sounds so like. But you know what I mean, like. that was part of the appeal in the first place. Was this way like art like, you know, you follow where the artists are.
And it comes out of these struggles of places. It doesn't come out
Yes.
of
good art comes from oppression for sure.
Well, yeah, but even just like talking about like where you are, it doesn't come out of like a fucking like, you know, suburban I don't know.
I could make the argument. I mean, I have made the argument because I think the suburbs also create their own kind of ennui and like struggle in a way that can make you feel really isolated too.
Yeah, true. No, you're totally right. No, you're right.
That was my radio voice. What did you think of my radio voice?
That was really good.
I just pitched it down a little.
That was good.
You know? But I think I don't know. I think there's such an interesting conversation around like how cities. I mean, we've touched so much already, but like how cities exist and how they grow and how they, you know, and like we need more room for people, and I appreciate that and I understand that. And then I'm also just like, I was talking to my very good friend Jared the other day, who has bought a place on, I call it Cabot Cove, but it's Cape Breton. And I call it Cabot Cove because the Murder, She Wrote was set in Cabot Cove. And that's why I call it that. And it makes sense to me. Anyway, Angela Lansbury for the ages.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he bought a place out there and he's so happy out there. And he's like, he's just like, I don't know. I shouldn't speak for him. That's not nice. But we were talking about how much it sucks walking around Toronto right now. And I know exactly what he means.
Would you ever leave the city?
I can't. Like, I just can't. Like, I do. So the lifestyle hack that I found for myself is telling people that we have to leave for LA in the winter because Roland can't walk on the icy sidewalks, which is true.
Yeah.
But we would probably be doing it anyway.
Right. So you're just making him a snowbird.
Yeah, and it's good.
Yeah.
And it's real good.
No,
and like
do it. I mean,
it's
this is
so
the dream.
privileged, and I get that it's privileged.
It's the dream.
And like we have access to like great
you
friends
can
with
do it,
homes there, so we're
do
not
it.
we're not living in a hotel when we're there.
Just do it.
The catch this year, we're staying at a friend's place, but the catch is there's a dying dog. Honestly, worth it. So I'm just like, maybe the dog. So yeah, I love this person, and I love it's anyway. So I think I shouldn't say any more about the dying dog, but like it sucks when dogs die, but
yeah.
You know, they have a lifespan, as we all do. So yeah, I mean that's to me the solution, and the way to exist happily in this city is to pull myself out of it every January 6th to April-ish when the snow melts. Right. And the reason, and it not just because of the appeal of that weather-wise, it is also mentally so helpful to me to be away from here. Yeah. Because we've talked a little bit about the city not being very nice to me sometimes, and like sometimes, you know, it's just so nice to pull away from it. And I go, and I mean, if I lived in LA, I would experience exactly the same things in exactly the same ways.
But there's still a sense of like spread outness in LA that we don't have here because it's so concentrated. I do feel like you can like hide in LA when you want to.
That's actually true. I do think that's true. I just mean only that like if I lived there as a restaurant owner, I would probably come up against the same things. Right. But because I don't live there and I'm not trying to have a business, like I've made friends there, like really good friends, also in the restaurant business, some of them and some of them not. And I just feel free there, right? Which is like, it sounds, oh God, it does sound, I hate myself, you know, it's just like, but I feel like I don't, and I write when I'm there and I like exist in this different world. Like I'm available to all of our managers and all the staff really for any conversation that they ever want to have over text. And I know that's sort of me being like, well, it's fine because text, but like, I can't go back. Like this is just this is how I'm going to live right now. And the restaurants may suffer a little tiny bit without me for 3 months. And I don't love that, but I love my husband and my life with him and myself more.
And if you make it work in any way you can that makes it easier for everybody, why not?
Well, and then you're better when you're here.
So much better. Honestly, so much better. Like,
and also, let's just be honest, Toronto's better in the summer.
It's so shit in the winter.
January to March is the
it's awful, and then March is somehow worse than January because you're like it's almost over, but it's still really
and it's
wet, cold.
It's
wet. And then you always get that last hurrah when shit
you
melts.
You can't walk anywhere.
Blizzard.
I know. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm like, the minute you can do this for yourselves, really, I highly recommend it. Like,
I would love to
figure it out.
There's two last things I wanted to discuss.
Yes, please.
The last thing for the end.
Yeah. We've been talking for so
long.
I don't know how long.
Oh my God.
I don't even want to check. I'm not even.
I'm scared. I'm scared to look. Okay.
You had a relationship and friendship with Anthony Bourdain, which I find so fascinating because
He's fascinating.
he's literally
very
one of like
I know.
my favorite people. Not to be like a fucking like stan, but like that was the person that I think made me appreciate food and culture and eating culture and drinking culture just like beyond. I was already in it, and then he took it like even further.
He made it so cool too.
He just made me
Yeah,
appreciate
I agree.
the importance
So
of like what we're doing is literally in a weird sense because of like him. Like,
Yeah.
we're eating and drinking and talking, and that's like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
You would never have eaten or drinking or talking without Tony. Is what I'm understanding. Like
He invented eating.
you would have starved to death.
dinner.
He invented eating, drinking, and
You would have
The
not been
dinner
alcoholics. You would have starved to death, and you never would have spoken a fucking word like a monk.
He invented recording dinner.
We would have
That's
been
what
dead, sober mutes.
Okay,
That's what it would have
okay.
been.
So what's the question?
Just like how
What was that like? What was that like for
honestly,
you?
like that's my like that's
No,
my
that's fair. I mean, I get-
beyond podcast. My just like nerd. Just,
No.
What was that like?
So okay, I'm also enamored by Tony and his writing and the work that he did, and I think so many thoughts about it. I think that he was very fortunate that he got famous late in life. Like he was in his early 50s or late 40s when it happened. I think.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was quite late in life for him. Maybe a little earlier than I'm remembering, but I don't think so.
He definitely got his
Yeah.
break a little bit
No,
earlier, but he became famous.
No,
in his
actually,
50s.
to be fair, no, he was 6. So it was like in his early 40s. Sorry, early 50s. I don't fucking. Someone will fact check that.
Right.
But it was later in life in a real way,
Yeah.
like in his 40s, let's say. And I think that is good and helpful. And but I also think, he's a really fascinating person, and I don't know him well. And I don't know how many people, there's not that many people I think that did know him well, but he knew exactly how to be a famous person. And I think that's like not an insult, and it sounds like one, but it's not. Like the way he gave time to people, the way that switch flipped, the way he appreciated really truly, like he would take a picture with anyone. Like Lori, his wonderful co-writer and assistant for years, she's a friend of mine, and we would joke about this sometimes. Like he would just take a picture with anyone, and but that's also how to do it. Like you appreciate that these are the people that like got you to this place where you never thought you would be. And I don't know if I believe that he never thought he would be there. Like, I actually don't believe that for a second. I think it's part of the lore. I think he's a bit of a genius, and I think he understood his own genius.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
And he understood like that he was, when he wrote that book and where he embellished and how he told those stories, I think he understood exactly what he was doing and how it was going to hit. And I've never gotten him to admit that. So, but I do think, and why would anyone, right?
Yeah,
why
yeah.
would anyone ever admit that it was like
Give
in
away
any
their
way
secrets.
calculated, right? Yeah. Like I think, and in some ways I think a lot of what I do is like, not that I'm comparing myself to Tony, that's not what I mean, but I think I make calculated choices in the same way, and that's why I understand
But the
that.
thing is we all do.
But people don't like to admit that.
To pretend that we don't do that is ridiculous.
Of course
we
it
all
is.
pick and choose how we present anything to the world.
Yep.
It's a calculated decision. So I think
And he was also
I
a
would never look at
great
that as
writer.
bad.
He was also, so like, I think to discount the fact that, and not that anyone does, but like he's a great writer.
Yeah,
and he's a
yeah.
fantastic storyteller, and he's also a great listener, which I think is something that does get downplayed because he's an excellent talker too. But he's a really good listener. Like he really is able to like make people feel safe
Yeah.
when they're telling him stories. And I also saw like, a person who maybe was unsettled by all of that stuff, and like it's hard, like it's really, I don't know, but I definitely sensed that there was like an unsettled part, and there's insecurity there, as there is with anyone. And that's just something that I got that impression from like talking to this person, like,
Yeah.
for a short amount of time. Like, so I don't know. I think he I think he changed the world though, and I don't
Yeah.
think that many people get to do that.
In
So,
my opinion,
like-
he 100%.
Like he changed the world. There's just no question about that, and that's so clear and obvious that like, and not just in this niche moment of culture that I also exist in, but like he literally changed everything about how we think about the world of food and eating and dining. And I don't know, he changed. It's really. I don't know. And I also just like, I'm really mad that he's dead.
Yeah.
And I really miss him. Like he was a really actually shockingly excellent friend to me. like in weird ways. Like he, like I think if I lived in New York and I was trying to make plans with him, it would be really difficult and it would really annoy me how like unavailable he would be, of course.
Yeah.
But because we were like, we existed in different planes, like he would his email response times, and not just for me, I think like I've talked about this with other people, unbelievable.
Really?
So fast. I had this thing happen to me where I was robbed of only my computers for reasons that I understand what they are, but I can't really go into. And I was very freaked out. My laptop, Roland's laptop, an iPad, and my desktop. And not the pile of cash sitting on the desk.
Oh my God.
It was so freaky. And I was like, I could see them trying to break into my computer, and I'm not great at computers, but I had people like trying to help me. And I messaged Tony, and he got back to me. He was like, "This is what you need to do." Like he was just like, I don't know why. I was just like, he'll know what to do. Like, he's like, and he did. And he's like, "This is what you have to do." And like, I mean, he was just like incredibly supportive in like these small ways that I don't talk about very often, because like I also never want to like use or abuse the like very nice relationship I have with him. And I think
I don't think you do at all.
I don't think I do at all.
I feel like I only know it
I don't.
because like I know you.
Yeah.
And because I actually saw you guys together once on the street. And I was like, huh.
Oh, that's so funny.
But like, I don't think it's like even, I mean, I guess the quote is on the back of your book, but like.
Oh my God, that was like one of the approval for men things that I talk about.
Right.
Approval for men, where I messaged Lori and I was like, I really would love a blurb from Tony. It would mean so much to me. Do you think, and like when you're like an author, a first-time writer trying to like hawk your book, like the blurbs count, and your publishers are telling you to get, well, they didn't tell me, but they probably would be telling people like get the best blurb you can get. Get the get.
If you can, you can.
And
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know, I'll just see, I guess. Within 3 days of messaging Lori, he had sent me the dream blurb, the blurb that you're just like, what? I cried, you guys. I literally cried like a baby, which is so embarrassing. That quote meant so, like that the blurb meant so much to me, that what he said was so consequential. And it wasn't just, that I was so complimented, and I was like, oh, Tony thinks I'm a good writer. Okay, that's crazy. But also not, because I know I'm a good writer. So like, it was like this, it was like,
Yeah.
but it was that I knew what it meant.
Yeah.
And that I knew he knew what it meant. And that we both understood how important this was to like book sales for me, and that it was nothing for him to do it, but he did it. And like it changed. I think that's part of what changed for me, actually.
Yeah.
Like for like culturally, like for like people being like, oh, I guess she's all right. Oh, Tony likes her.
Right.
Well, yeah, it's the
It's when men tell you it's okay
It's the
to like that crazy bitch,
No, yeah.
Nah, she's cool. You're like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, she's cool.
So honestly, like I was so grateful for it, and then I was so mad at him when he killed himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
but what other good things were you going to do for me?
Yeah. No, I don't.
No,
I'm
I know
kidding,
that.
of course,
Yeah.
but
No,
like
I know,
but it's,
no.
yeah.
and when, oh my God,
But death is hard for the people that live, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's the thing. It's like kind of okay to be selfish about someone else's death in a weird way, because
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
in the sense that as long as you acknowledge how hard it is for other people, but
Yeah.
like that's what death is sad for, is for the people that survive.
of course,
Yeah.
I mean, the people
Yeah.
that die don't have to deal with any of it. I mean,
Yeah.
he like when my phone was, I was in LA when he died, and my phone was blowing up, and my husband had just left because he's a painter, and he was, when we went to LA for a week, and he'd been painting something, and he's like, I got to get back to my painting, literally, and I hope he can someday paint again. But he left, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to stay for another couple days. And then for some reason, when I woke up, I woke up early. Like I woke up at like 8:30 or 8. That's not early, but like it was early Eastern time, and my phone was blowing up. And for whatever reason, like I was like, because I saw like we're like, are you okay? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. And all these messages, and I thought my husband had died on a plane. Like I knew I had spoken to him the night before and that he had already landed. Like I knew it wasn't true.
But waking up
in the morning, I'm just like, oh my God, Roland. Like,
right.
And then I was like, and I was like, what is happening? Why are people? And then I couldn't, like, because nobody had explicitly said Tony. Like there was just all these messages that are like, are you okay? Like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And hearts and hearts and hearts. Like really dozens of messages.
Yeah.
And then I slowly started, and I messaged a friend. I was like, sorry, what? Like, am I okay? Because why? And then they told me, and I was just like, I lost my mind in LA by myself. I was so sad, and I was so distraught. And the person who helped me was Jonathan Gold, who is an amazing food writer. And we were friends. Who died like shortly after that.
Fuck.
I mean, it was just like, it was so crazy. Like he brought tacos over. Like he was just like, he was so kind. And he's like, I know you're here by yourself. Like, what can I do? And I was like, honestly, I'm okay. He's like, let's have dinner. And I was like, okay, well, maybe tomorrow. But he dropped off tacos, and then we had dinner the next night, and I'd never met his wife, and I met his wife, and then he died a month and a half later.
Jesus.
I mean, it was just a crazy summer.
Because I know, Jonathan Gold was another. That was the other, again, from somebody who was not a food person, who was like had these
amazing.
entry level.
And he's
people.
A music person too. You know his whole like he's unbelievable.
But those are the people that got me to the level where I actually like, you know, aside from music, I only care about one other thing, and it's food.
But I was like, oh my God, these two men who were like beloved mainstream men who I also adored. Have died. Like what?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was really crazy, and I mean, you know, and my parents also died. It was just a lot of death.
Yeah.
It was a lot of death.
Yeah, that's an insane year.
It was a lot of death. It was a lot of death, but it was also I don't know. It was like it was a really strange time, and I built a lot of stuff too. I like wrote a book and built 2 restaurants while my mom was. I mean, it was just like it was really a lot. It was a lot, and I feel like so stagnant, and I feel like I'm not doing anything. And I know I'm really busy in lots of ways, and it's just like if there's not enough plates like spinning, if I'm not, am I doing anything?
Yeah.
Like,
Am I doing enough?
Wow, it got really dark there, you guys. Sorry.
This is.
Sorry, I really like got in my head. I got in my head. We had a lot of laughs though. We had a lot of laughs. You figured out how to edit this.
That was a good
So.
No. We're keeping most of this in.
But yeah, I really like. I don't know. So I really I need to be busy all the time.
Yeah.
The last thing I wanted to ask you was about writing, and are you working on a follow-up?
I am. To ask my agent's hounding me. I love her so much, but she's I was supposed to be writing it last. So I thought I was maybe gonna write like a deep like I hear she's a real cunt, or like a deeper memoir, you know, like a really just like go there, like, oh, you saw a picture of my vagina, let me show. I don't know, like, here's my asshole.
We would have a third option for the title. She's a real cunt.
Yeah, so we got so many options.
Just kidding.
Wait, I think hard cunt was. I liked hard cunt.
I like extra hard.
Extra hard cunt.
Extra hard vagina. That was
extra and whatever it was, I liked it. I liked it. So I don't know. So I was supposed to be writing that. And then but I actually think I want to write kind of a manual on restaurants that also is essays that go hard, go deep.
Yeah, sick.
So I'm not exactly sure how it's all going to shake out. Like because I really want to talk about like being a stroke wife too. Like I have a lot of feelings around this that are like unrelatable for people my age because they don't have a 20-year older husband, or like they don't, you know. And so I think, and I don't know if it's like but I do think there's like something helpful in there for people. Like caregiving is really a beautiful thing that really shows you who you are and who you love. And I really deeply love my husband. Like anyone who's ever seen us together probably knows that, but like
he's one of the greatest people ever.
The greatest people ever. He really is. And so I do like, there's stories that I want to tell in that world that are like outside of restaurants, but I also want to really talk about like how to, make restaurants. And like, I think I can tell that story better than a lot of people can. And so I'm really going to try and make something that I've never talked about this. And this is weird that I'm talking about it because I'm really normally quite, I hold everything in until I'm tight-lipped about things until I'm like ready to. So I mean, really, congratulations for the, like you got because I think why I think because we're having such a nice conversation and it feels so natural that it's just like you do honestly feel like you're just talking to friends. And so if you're thinking about coming on Cold Pod, you absolutely should.
And recommend
hard endorsement, like hard endorsement for this show. It's I don't know. I really like. I just want to write. I don't know what it's gonna look like, but I absolutely am working on it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know how long it's gonna take.
Sweet.
Yeah.
No, that's exciting. Like,
Extra Hard Vagina, Volume 2.
As I said before, like honestly, the last thing I'll say before we wrap this up is like I said, I read your book obviously late.
Oh yeah, back to compliments.
But just like I read it and like I couldn't remember the last time I like couldn't put a book down. I literally
For real?
No, I like to the point where my girlfriend. Like as I was reading it, I was like, "You have to read this. This is so good." And she's like, "Okay, I'll like read a chapter."
Lauren,
yeah,
did she read it yet?
Yes,
yeah, she liked it too.
She read it I was ahead, and then I finished, and then she finished, and whatever. It was like this thing where I was just like, and it weirdly got me back into reading again.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so nice.
I know. I remember when you read it.
I remember being like this, and then all of a sudden, now I just read books.
That's like the night. Honestly, that's some of the nicest. That's the highest praise.
And I'm not just saying that.
No, I don't. I believe you. Like that's the highest praise because I think a book that gets. I think like if it's something that will actually get you back into reading again, it's because it hit you in the heart in some way, and then you're like, oh right, reading makes you feel good.
Yeah,
and like
actually just hit a place that like I was.
Oh, that's so nice, Josh.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well,
Austin,
Jen?
do you have any compliments for me?
I have so many, but I'm gonna save them. Josh is giving
I'll just
them
lend
all.
you the book.
I gotta read this.
You haven't read the.
I haven't.
You
read
knew
the
you were.
book. I'm. So
This was a.
he told me.
Austin,
About,
do you think I didn't look you up? Do you
told
think
me
I was
about this.
pretending to not know your name?
He told
I
me
knew your
about this
name.
on Wednesday. He told me about this on Wednesday.
Yeah, because someone dropped out.
Actually, no one dropped out.
Well, because we usually don't do these but he didn't tell me until Wednesday.
We usually don't do them until the next week.
I mean, it's a quick read.
I was just
Today's Friday.
He's gonna take the book. Don't worry.
Oh, he's gonna take the book.
ASAP. I'm reading it right after this.
Anyways, Jen, thank you for coming.
You
on.
guys,
so
let's go get a tequila tonic.
Let's go get a tequila tonic.
Like this was so. This is one of the best. I've done a lot of podcasts. This was amazing.
Thank you so much.
Really
You're
amazing.
a pleasure to have on.
This has been.
I got in a whirlwind.
This is like the
I know, right?
craziest episode.
Did I talk too much?
No. Last question.
Just